All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. This weekend's WSL action continues today as we kick off the first of a double header. We're starting with Brighton taking on Chelsea as this early morning kickoff. We'll also be keeping tabs on the other three WSL fixtures at 12 o'clock and then join us later today as Manchester United take on Tottenham. But let's start with the game between Brighton and Chelsea. We know Brighton have developed this reputation as giant killers. We know Chelsea haven't been in the best domestic form, Harry. So do you think there'll be belief today for the host that they could get something from this?
Yeah, absolutely. We know how good Brighton can be on their day, especially at home. Their record at home is absolutely incredible, especially last season. This season it's not as good, but it's still very strong. And we know they've got it in their locker to take on these big sides and beat them on their day. So, yeah, I think Brighton will fancy themselves to get a result today, even if they aren't to win the match. And I think the pressure will be on the travelling side, Chelsea, to come here and get a result. Brighton have got quality across the pitch, and if they don't make any sloppy errors at the back, then they're going to push Chelsea all the way today, and it's going to be up to the Blues to deliver a performance that is deserving of a victory. But yeah, Brighton will fully believe they can get something from this game because they've got the quality. And as I said, if they don't make any errors, then it's going to be hard for Chelsea to break them down.
Yeah, and in Chelsea's invincible season last year, Brighton were the only side to take points with them domestically. So they'll be believing they can do similar again today. Let's get into the lineups then, as we are at the Broadfield Stadium in Crawley, or I think what is now known as the Totally Wicked Stadium, which is a brilliant name. Let's start with the hosts, Brighton. It is a 4-2-3-1, as always, for Brighton today. In goal, Bagley replaces Chiamaka and Adozi. Not 100% sure as to why. I hope Vidicic has answered some questions on that, but no Enadozi in the Brighton squad. In the back four, it's Hayes, Minami, Venegas and Olis Largas, with Venegas returning from injury. In the midfield pivot, it'll be Simmons alongside Nadim Nordam. On one side, McLaughlin. On the other, Madison Haley, Kafaji in the 10, and Kiko Seike leads the line. A lot of big omissions then for Brighton today. No Melis and Pomay has been excellent for them this season. No Chiamaka and Adozi, arguably their player of the campaign. Obviously, we already know about them not having certain players like Ajmang available, but no Frank Kirby, no Helena Kankovic. That's a lot of big misses for Brighton.
Yeah, very much is. You know, it's the majority of their side that has done so well this season. Some of their best players are in that list, and that is going to make it a lot harder a task for the Seagulls today. But we know the quality they have got on the pitch. They've still got players they can rely on, and it really depends if they're going to turn up. There are certain players in that Brighton 11 that we've watched this season, and I thought that on their day they've looked comfortable. There's been certain games where they really struggled. I think Minami, especially in that back four, hasn't had a brilliant season. I think Brighton across the board as a team.
I think Minami, to be fair, jumps up and down. She either has a 10 out of 10 game, or an absolute stinker.
Yeah, as I say, I think that it's, Brighton individually and as a team have been so hit and miss this season. There have been games where we've sat there and gone, wow, Brighton can really compete with the top four and be a strong side. And then there's been other games where we've sat here and gone, that was really poor from Brighton. And I think sitting 7th in the table is probably a fair place for them right now, just due to that inconsistency. Yeah. And if that back four can be tight, if they can be good in possession and make sure they make the right decisions, then they'll do well to keep hold of the ball. And if they can play through Chelsea, they're going to cause problems. Madison Haley has been a big boost to be back in that 11 in recent weeks and has picked up where she left off before she got injured and has looked really sharp since her return. So if they can get her on the ball, we know the problems she caused Chelsea last season. I remember it was this fixture and it was Naomi Girma's first game for Chelsea, and Madison Haley caused her all kinds of problems in that match. So it's the kind of game where I think if Haley's on it, she can really put that Chelsea backline to the test.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how this Brighton team is set up today, it's going to be transitional. Seike, Haley and Kavaji are all players who can break away with a bit of pace. I think they'll be trying to target Chelsea in behind, especially after watching Chelsea last weekend against Everton, and that was how they conceded from one of those fast breaks. So if Brighton can generate those transitional moments, I think that's where they'll have the most joy today. And let's get into the visitors. Chelsea then, 2 changes from the side who played Everton last weekend, 6 changes from the side who faced Roma in midweek. In goal, Olivia Payne keeps her starting berth with Hannah Hampton close to her return, not available for today, but could be available for selection against Wolfsburg on Wednesday. In the back four, it's going to be, or back five, sorry, it's going to be Carpenter and Baltimore at wing backs with a back three of Bronze, Bright and Girma. In the midfield pivot, it's Kira Walsh alongside Aaron Cuthbert, the preferred Chelsea lineup. On one side, it's Lauren James. On the other, Alyssa Thompson. And it's Aggie Beaver-Jones who leads the line. Now, we can never be sure with Chelsea because there could be some players in some rogue positions, but it looks like it's going to be the same Chelsea team or a similar sort of Chelsea lineup to what we saw on the opening day. Different personnel, but that same sort of three-back formation that we saw Chelsea use.
Yeah, I think it's expected. We've seen a bit of a shift to the full-back in the last couple of weeks, and it hasn't really worked. We know Chelsea with the back three, it allows Carpenter and Baltimore to get really high. People will look at it and say that it's a five-back and complain that it's too defensive. That's not the case whatsoever. We know it's going to, for the majority of the match, it will be a back three, and Baltimore and Carpenter are going to be ridiculously hard to pitch. And if anything, that could be where Brighton catch Chelsea out. So it'll be interesting how it plays. It's a big game for that back three. I think there's players like Millie Bright who need to come in and could really do a big performance. And Chelsea, overall, do need to bounce back. They've got the quality. We know they've got the players on the pitch, but they need to deliver in the league. It was a brilliant response on Thursday night against Roma. That was a complete demolition job, exactly what Chelsea needed to kind of put that Everton loss behind them. But now it's about getting a result on the board in the WSL. I think it's absolutely crucial, especially against a side with the quality of Brighton. It would be a big win away from home to get things back on board and to end the WSL 2025 WSL on a positive note. But we know Chelsea got the ability. I think the system change is a positive one. It's going to be very aggressive and hopefully will create a lot more chances than the Everton game did.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of information from Branny saying that Enadozie is out due to concussion in training. So that is good to know, but that is a big loss for Brighton today. We'll dive into predictions in just a moment. A few comments in the live chat. Adrian complaining about no sound. Everyone else seems to have no issues though. So do just check that you've turned your volume up. Would be my best suggestion on that one. And GT asking, what do you guys think of the lineup? I think it's good. I think what Chelsea will look to do today is get Lauren James and Thompson in those central areas. Obviously with the overlapping full-backs there, or wing-backs of Baltimore, not Millie Bright, of Baltimore and Carpenter. I think with Bright as well, playing as a centrepiece of that back three should give her a little bit more protection today. Obviously, really like that midfield pivot. I was hoping we'd see Nusken over Cuthbert potentially because I thought Nusken looked really good. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they look today. And I like Germer and Bronze defending those wide areas. I think in a back three, that can work really nicely. So it's going to be how penetrative Chelsea can be today. Yeah. But with Thompson and James in central areas, with Cuthbert in that supporting role, with two wide players who are going to be able to hold that width, we hope, I do think this can work quite nicely for the Blues today. Let's dive into predictions then, because the players are heading out onto the field. We will start. Make sure if you want to get involved in the live chat. Let us know your scoreline predictions. But we'll start here in the studio, and we'll start with yourself, Harry. What is your prediction for this game?
I think that it could be one of those games where it's going to come down to clinicality. There will be moments where it will be a little bit transitional. I think Chelsea are very aggressive today. Brighton, we know, will look to be good on the break, but I think Chelsea have got the quality, as you say, in wide areas to defend on that transition, and the quality in front of goal should be enough to win for the Blues today. I will say Brighton 1, Chelsea 3. I do think Brighton will get a goal, but Chelsea will be dangerous enough in the front line to put a few past them, and it will be a bit more reminiscent of what we saw last season and what we saw under Emma Hayes, where Chelsea looked really convincing going forwards at the expense of conceding a goal. I will say Chelsea goals from Beaver-Jones, Thompson and Cuthbert, and I will say a Brighton consolation towards the end from Madison Haley.
Yeah, I think for today, that Chelsea front five is just so strong. You can't really see it not working. I think, so much quality amongst that sort of attacking five. So I think Chelsea will be fairly comfortable. I want to say a clean sheet, but I really just don't see it right now. I'm going to go for... I was going to go 3-1 Chelsea, but I don't want to go the same as you because that's incredibly boring. So I'm going to say 4-1 Chelsea. Go for an even more comprehensive victory. I think it will be a double from Lauren James, though. I think it'll be a goal for Aggie Beaver-Jones. I think she really needs one. And Brighton do play quite a high line. I think that can really play into Chelsea's hands today. And I'm going to say, I want to go for a rogue goal scorer, so I'm going to say Naomi Germer to score as well. And for Brighton, I think it'll be Kiko Seike. She's looked really sharp recently, especially in that game against London City. Scored a goal, was a big part of creating another chance as well. So, yeah, I think she looked really good in that match. I think she'll keep that up. A few predictions in the live chat. Phil going 6-1 Chelsea.
Wow.
Which is one hell of a prediction. GT saying 2-2. H going 2-0 Chelsea. Nigel saying 2-0 Chelsea as well. So most people backing a Chelsea win. The poll in chat, a similar story. 83% going for Chelsea. Not quite as high as when Barcelona played Benfica midweek. 9% going for Brighton and 7% going for a draw. Well, it's going to be Brighton to get us underway here at the Broadfield Stadium, the home of Crawley Town Football Club and the home, of course, of Brighton Women. And it's Rosa Kafaji from the middle waiting for the referee's whistle. And we will have a slight delay here. So the referee looks over at a fourth official, waits for us to get underway. And we do now get started here for this WSL double header. It's Brighton taking on Chelsea, the first of 2 games we're covering today. And of course, we'll be keeping tabs across the league leaders. Manchester City facing a tough test against Villa today. A relegation battle as Liverpool take on West Ham. 6-pointer really for those 2 sides. And also elsewhere as Leicester City take on London City. Here is Erin Cuthbert. Back now to Bright, under pressure from Seike, looking to play it in behind, and Beaver Jones does win the initial aerial duel. Falls to Thompson, who is dispossessed. Now Cuthbert into James, who can open up the play now, shifting it down the left-hand side. Baltimore with space to work with. What can Sonny Baltimore do now? Wants to take on McLaughlin. Shifts it onto her right foot now, back to James. James puts it into the area. Dangerous ball. Carpenter tries to meet it. It's a bit of a mess at the back from Brighton, but Manuela Venegas does steer that clear. Now Bronze up in support. Tries to take on Madison Haley, and that's not gone how Lucy Bronze would have wanted it to.
Yeah, good start from Chelsea. Positive. I think it was Carpenter who actually put that goal with her back there. I think.
I'm not sure it was her back. I think it might have even been her bum.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what it looked like.
I think she got involved in a tussle at the far post and kind of just had to throw her body at it. Couldn't really get her legs out. But yeah, positive start from Chelsea. Already aggressive and looking to put pressure onto that Brighton goal.
Manami here looking to hurt Chelsea in behind. Bright. Not with the most convincing clearance, but Carpenter on hand to clean it up. And now Chelsea can look to build out from the back. Here is Peng. Now to the left-hand side. Germer. Shifts it into Baltimore. And now back to Germer. Peng. Plays it into Bright. Back to Germer. But a good test of Chelsea today, building out from the back. We know Brighton are brilliant pressers. I think the best pressers in the league. I don't know if there is any PPDA statistics in the WSL. But just from the eye test, we know how well they press. We know how often they generate those high turnovers.
Yeah, it's the kind of opposition, and with the placement of the game and the way Chelsea's fortunes are going, today is about getting the result. Use the win, then use the break to sort out your problems and to try and refine the way they play. But today for Chelsea, just play well and get the 3 points on the board. That's got to be the main thing. Which is why I think we have seen Sonia revert back to the 3-back.
Brilliant that from Ellie Carpenter. Now knocks it down the line for Thompson, and Chelsea are coming forwards here. Thompson has Carpenter overlapping, plays it into the full-back. Good tackling there from Venegas. Carpenter keeps going, but Ola Slager's on hand there to deal with the ball. Knocks it out for a Chelsea throw-in on this near side.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Venegas on this left-hand side for Brighton today. Thompson running at her and Carpenter overlapping is a lot of quality to handle. Going to need the wingers to track back.
Well, they tend to defend in a 5 anyway, because we see McLaughlin get back on the right-hand side. So it gives Venegas that little more, as the left centre-half, it gives her a little bit more freedom to roam from her position. And obviously does have the support of the wing-back, Ola Slagers, or full-back. That's one back well by Madison Haley. Now Ola Slagers. That's too easy, really, for Brighton. Ola Slager's pass, fairly aimless, but Seike's the player that can pick up on it, and that ball forwards, looking for Kafaji over hit. And Chelsea now in possession. Peng. Here is Bright. Across to Naomi Germer. And now James down the line to Baltimore. Back to Lauren James. And that is tidy footwork there as she dribbles across the field. Cuthbert spreads it wide to Carpenter. Into the feet of Beaver Jones, who can turn out now. Goes back to Bright. Out wide into Lauren James. Nice turn there from James. And now Ellie Carpenter. James. Back down the line to Carpenter. Ball into the box. That's going to be cleared away well by McLaughlin. And Seike steering it out of the penalty area. Germer. Back now to Bright. Walsh. Back to Bright. Now Chelsea looking to go down the left-hand side. Here's Sondy Baltimore. Plays it inside to Cuthbert. Bats it back to Germer. Not a great pass. Or control, sorry, from Bright. But does now look for that long switch out to the left-hand side. Finds Sondy Baltimore. Here come Chelsea. Baltimore, ball into the box, and that's headed away well by Caitlin Hayes. Going to drop on the edge of the area. Walsh keeping this move alive. Now Baltimore unopposed. Could put the ball into the box. Squares up to McLaughlin instead. Now does put the cross in. Not dealt with really by Bagley. Drops for Lauren James. Scuffs the shot. Keeps it alive. Bounces around the penalty area now, and Brighton will be able to progress the ball. Here comes Nordam. But that moment of confusion there for Brighton almost creating an opportunity for Chelsea.
Yeah, but much better from Chelsea again. And they're doing really well to test that Brighton penalty area. Brighton's box defending has been a little bit shaky in the opening stages. They just couldn't find a way to get rid of that ball. And many Chelsea players were able just to keep recycling it. And it's good from Chelsea because it's relentless. It's exactly what we didn't see against Everton. That initial ball goes in from Baltimore, but then Chelsea recycle it again and they keep the pressure on, and keep playing like that, and eventually you're going to force a goal.
Yeah, Haley being forced back here by Bronze. Absolutely hounded there by the right centre-half, but she has played out. Here's Ola Slagers, blocked well by Erin Cuthbert. But Ola Slagers does recover it, and now it's back to Venegas, who's under pressure from Beaver Jones. Now Bagley tries to drill out a pass. That's intercepted by Germer, who knocks it inside looking for James. Going to drop for Cuthbert now. Shifts it out to the left-hand side, and that's just got a bit too much on it from Erin Cuthbert for Thompson, but Thompson will batter with Minami. And a bit confusingly, really, that's given as a goal kick. Well, that could have been a corner for Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely a tight one. Thompson did well there. Again, the pace. Minami looked like she was going to get there comfortably first, and Thompson just puts the burst on and makes it a bit more of 50-50. But this is good from Chelsea. The initial ball in from Baltimore, and you think it's cleared, but James keeps it alive. Then again, you think it's gone, but James manages to get it back in towards the 6-yard box.
And that's the key difference, is Enadozie doesn't spill that.
Yeah.
And that could be big for Brighton. So now it hasn't led to anything there, but Bagley isn't as error-free as Enadozie.
Yeah.
I was saying, Enadozie is a world-class goalkeeper. It's a very harsh comparison. But I think that is the biggest differentiator. And Enadozie's ability with the ball at her feet as well, I think. Obviously much better. Playing out from the back, Bright knocks it in behind into Carpenter, who tries to push it in front of her, but she's got that all wrong. And she's dispossessed by Nordam. Back now to Hayes. Now Venegas. And that's dispossessed well. Great pressure from Beaver Jones. Too casual really from Venegas. And that's a really poor pass though from Beaver Jones. And the play at the moment, just exchanging hands a bit too easily. And here is Venegas. Phil says Daly an inch away from putting Villa 1 up. That was a few minutes ago now. But City surviving an early scare there then.
Yeah, I always love this game week. It always has massive consequences up and down the table. So last Matchweek of 2025, so it's always a big one to get 3 points on the board. But equally this year with the matchups we've got and the positions certain teams are in, there's some massive ties today. And it's a very important afternoon of DSL football.
Yeah, it's always used to be the last streams before Christmas as well, but now we've got Champions League in the midweek, and we won't be live for the Subway Women's League Cup, but that's more games to watch. So the winter break getting shorter every year and feels less like a break every year. Here is Bright. Now to Germer. Cadhay says, why couldn't Kerr start? Well, Kerr started in the week, I believe, didn't she? So they're just trying to manage her minutes. She's come back from a long injury. I think it's very understandable. Thompson, now James. Baltimore, back to James. Just so good at holding on to the ball. Tries to pass it to Bronze. Haley does really well, though, to win it back. And then Lauren James catching Madison Haley. She tries to get the ball back.
Yeah, just a bit late there from James. Seeing it's a really good tussle at the moment between Haley and Bronze on Chelsea's right-hand side, on Brighton's left-hand side. And Haley, the right side of the line. manages to win the ball off Bronze, and then James, the wrong side of the line, doesn't, ends up taking out Haley. That's not a foul from Haley on Bronze. Bronze is complaining, isn't happy about it. Nothing wrong with that. It's just pure strength. And yeah, LJ comes in late.
Seems one more frustration than any deliberate attempt to actually win the ball.
Oh, that's another poor pass from Brighton.
And now James, not the space she wanted in there, and she is deemed to have been pulled back there. Kafaji complained, but I'll have a look on the replay.
Yeah, it's a soft one, but her arm is across James as she looks to dart inside.
I think it's Nordam, so I don't know why Nordam didn't have any complaint. Kafaji just wasn't happy about it.
I'm not sure how Kafaji's it wasn't even the shot when the foul happened.
Nordam knew what she did. She just sort of jogged away and wasn't too worried about it. Kafaji was furious. Here's Sandy Baltimore, plays it inside to James, knocks it back down the line. Here is Lauren James. Sandy Baltimore. Back now to James. Walsh. Can Chelsea penetrate? That's been their biggest issue in recent weeks. Along with North taking their chances, of course. But can they actually create something here? Bronze. Wide now into Carpenter. Bronze. Now Walsh. And it says Thompson and James both gravitating to the left half space. Or left-hand side. Yeah, we saw them both move to the right-hand side, to be fair. So I think they're trying to keep them really close. And if you notice, it seems that Walsh and Cuthbert are doing the same. So it's quite a fluid midfield today from Chelsea. But they seem to be trying to keep Thompson and James close and trying to keep Walsh and Cuthbert close. So, wherever they go, they tend to be quite close to each other. Nordam. Now Venegas. Nice pass from Simmons back into her goalkeeper Bagley. Now Venegas. That's a poor pass. Osargas gets a touch on it, but Bronze now can come inside and win it back. Here's Thompson. Walsh. Out now to Millie Bright. First time pass, and that's really poor from Bright. I think I understand the urgency there, but you've got to get that right.
Yeah, just absolutely smashed that in the general direction of Carpenter and ended up getting it 3 or 4 yards behind it. But again, Chelsea, it's been a positive start. They've been on the ball, they've come forwards, but again, still yet to see a clear-cut chance. And I think that's the next step. It's been of course, we're only 11 minutes in. It's been a very, very good start. I think Chelsea want to start putting Bagley under a bit more pressure than they are at the moment.
Yeah. Carpenter down the line. Looking now for Thompson, puts it in the box. That'll run through him. Minami knocks it clear. Bright. James. Back to Bright. And now Walsh. Plays it into Carpenter. Brilliant control in there from Carpenter. Cuthbert tries to lay it off. Doesn't quite come off. Walsh. James. Cuthbert. Here is Bronze. Walsh. Now Bronze. Cuthbert puts the ball into the area, and that's headed away well, but only as far as James on the edge of the box. Cuthbert drives it inside, does well, cleared away by Ola Slagers. Thompson tries to keep it alive. Haley almost dispossessed there. Brighton trying to play out here under immense pressure. That's a brilliant clearance from Venegas. I think there's got to be more off-the-ball movement from Chelsea. There's got to be more selfless runs. Where you're able just to make space for other players. I think at the moment everyone wants to get in space for themselves and create opportunities. And when it's just not on, there's no movement. But if before that ball is played, Beaver Jones makes that run, she's going to draw the Brighton line really deep and create opportunities. But instead, they all make the same run because they all want to meet the ball. But so someone's got to make that selfless movement, really.
And I think it's got to be Beaver Jones, because the problem is for Beaver Jones is that this isn't really her game. The one thing she can do today is that running off the ball, because the amount of times we're seeing Chelsea get the ball into these wide areas and then
head away by Venegas.
What we're seeing is Chelsea get into these wide areas, cross it in, and Beaver Jones hasn't won a single header yet. This is a Macario or a Kerr game.
James plays it through the line. It's going to be a little bit too much on. That's the right idea, though. Split the fullback and centre half, and Carpenter almost made that ball, but it was just too much on it.
Yeah, again, better from Chelsea, and again, it's Carpenter with a lot of room to work with on this right-hand side. As I said, if Beaver Jones isn't going to make those runs, then you kind of look at her today and she's rendering herself a little bit, not really benefiting Chelsea at all.
She hasn't touched the ball well. Slight problem there with the Wi-Fi. Seems to be okay. Bagley plays out now to the left-hand side. Bronze. Looking to go down the line. Venegas wins it back. Now Ola Slagers. One back in there by Cuthbert. Here's Lauren James. Out now to the left-hand side. Lauren James, though, will strike it. Doesn't quite connect with that in the way she would have wanted. God, doesn't find the target.
Yeah, again, I think you can tell that Lauren James is still getting back to sharpness and still getting back to full flow, because there's been bright sparks and there's been bits of good movement and good play from LJ, but just that final ball or that the efforts have been a little bit inaccurate, but that's expected. She's only just coming back, and once she's firing on full cylinders, you'd expect those kind of world-class performances we know that Lauren James can deliver.
Yeah. Carpenter being forced back here by Marissa Olaslagers. Needs some support. Here's Bronze. She can clip it down the line. Cuthbert now with Nordam on her back. We'll play it inside to Bright. This is what Chelsea need to do there, because they've drawn 4 players out. Now it needs to move quickly up the pitch.
Yeah.
Germer. Out to, trying to play it in behind, looking for the run of Thompson, who will get there. Now Baltimore. Brighton have got back into their box, though. James, Baltimore. Germer. Walsh. James. Here's Germer. Bright. Looking for the forward pass. Plays it into Cuthbert, who's now looking to switch the play. That's brilliant into Baltimore. Lays it onto Lauren James on the overlap. Puts it across goal! And Beaver Jones has got to gamble there.
Wow.
That should be 1-0 Chelsea.
Really good football. Absolutely brilliant from Chelsea. Cuthbert, this is a superb pass out to Baltimore. Baltimore delays brilliantly.
It spreads that back line. Look at how much space it creates between Minami and the fullback. And Lauren James here puts the perfect ball. Seike gets in. Beaver Jones has got to throw herself at that for me. I don't even think she'd get there, but you've got to give everything, because she's not a million miles away and she's running to it. She throws herself at that. Maybe she makes contact with it. And all it needs is some sort of contact and it's going to go in. Ball in behind. Minami here under pressure. Headed on well by Beaver Jones. Here's Thompson, who will cut it back for Beaver Jones. Can't quite connect with it. And Ola Slagers looping it away. And now Germer knocks it back to Bright. Here is Walsh. James holds on to the ball well here. Lauren James now tries to play in behind, looking for Sondi Baltimore. McLaughlin knocks it out of play, and that will be a Chelsea corner.
Yeah. Again, still, at first 18 minutes, been one-way traffic. Chelsea just can't find that opening goal, and that's what's missing. Get a goal, and you just give yourself something to work with, and then you can push on.
Again, Chelsea have had 3 shots in the opening 18 minutes, yet to put one on target. It's the same problem of shot accuracy. I don't think they've had anything clear cut yet. I mean, Lauren James is really unlucky not to go in. James plays it to Walsh.
To just hit it.
Takes aim now, strikes the post, and that's unlucky. Lauren James puts it into the same sort of area. Bagley can claim that one, though. Doesn't quite get the contact, James, that she would have wanted there.
Yeah, short corner from Chelsea, and Brighton just do not react. Don't react at all. Baltimore plays it to Walsh on the edge, and no one gets out to her, allows Kira Walsh to get out of her feet and have a good effort on goal. And yet, just coming off the outside of the post, that's not a bad effort at all. And again, Brighton got away with one there massively, because no one reacts. And Walsh could have easily found the bottom corner there.
Big moment, by the way, in the game between West Ham and Liverpool. 19 minutes in, a red card for Liverpool. I believe it's Gemma Bonner. I'm not sure at this stage, but a foul by Bonner in the same minute. It's a red card for Gemma Bonner. And a play of her experience to make a mistake like that in today for Evans after she made a big mistake in the Villa game. But that is an absolute killer for Liverpool.
Yeah, same problems we spoke about all season for Liverpool, is that no centre-half can seem to just not make any errors.
No. And now, again, they have to win, really, given where they are in the table, given the stage of the season that we're at. And they've got to do it with 10 players for 70 minutes.
Yeah.
This is why I really struggle to blame Gareth Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just don't know what he can do with some of those players. But there we go. A player like Jared Bonner shouldn't be getting sent off in a game like that.
No.
I haven't seen the incident, though, so we'll reserve judgment fully. But yeah, that's a big problem now for Liverpool. Paul says, the way people are going on, you'd think Chelsea are having a bad season, quarterfinals of the League Cup and Champions League, and second in the WSL. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I don't think things are anywhere near as bad as Chelsea fans make it seem, or as rival fans want to believe it is. I think there definitely are issues. It's not entirely random, but I think a lot of it just comes down to not taking chances. I don't think Chelsea have been markedly worse than they were last season, but teams are figuring out the way Chelsea want to play. It does make it a little bit more difficult. I think you look at how everyone uses a low block against Chelsea, and they don't against other teams like a City, like an Arsenal. No, it does make things difficult, but yeah, I mean, I think I don't think things are as bad as they seem. Obviously, compared to Chelsea's lofty standards, the difference is last season Chelsea scored the most points anyone has ever managed in the first 10 games of the season, and this season they sit second in the league and 6 points off top. So there is going to be a frustration, which is understandable, but I don't think it's as bad as some people lead you to believe.
Yeah, it's one of those when you get so used to consistently being at the top, when you're suddenly knocked off that pedestal, even momentarily, it is very frustrating. It's not a nice feeling.
Because Chelsea has just set the standard at an unobtainable level last season. Exactly. No one will do that again. I mean, even City, who've been fantastic to start this campaign, were a point off what Chelsea managed. Headed away well by Minami. Carpenter wants to take on Olis Slagers here. Carpenter, ball across the box. Here's Baltimore. Walsh. Now Bronze. James. Bronze. Here's James under pressure from Nordam. Brilliant there from Lauren James to try and get around her. Nordam, though, keeps pace. And James now drifting inside. Puts it in a great area. Beaver Jones can't quite meet it. But everything positive right now is coming from Lauren James for Chelsea. I don't think it should be understated how important it's been. Her loss at the start of this campaign.
Yeah.
Baltimore does well there to win that back off of McLaughlin. And then knocks it down the line. Thompson holds it up well, wants to take on Minami. Minami brings her down, knocks it out of play for good measure. And that will be a Chelsea throw-in. Lloyd says the mid-tier teams have improved a lot, only a few pushovers now. Yeah. I think you look at that mid-table pack, I mean, how much better are Tottenham than they were last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look. I mean, there's no Crystal Palace as well. So there's no team that you sit there and go, well, we should score 5 today. Like London City have come in, they've invested hard, and yes, they've been beaten comprehensively by all the top teams, but they are a side who can put up a good fight. Yeah, Villa, Brighton, Tottenham, all really good teams. Here's Carpenter. Wants to put the ball into the box. Cleared away by McLaughlin. Here's Sondy. Baltimore! Big save from Bagley. And that is really well struck from Baltimore. And Bagley with a big, firm hand to push it over the bar.
Nearly replicating her goal that she scored at the Broadfield Stadium last year. Sondy Baltimore just fell to her really nicely on the volley. Caught it well. Little bit straighter than she'd have liked it. Probably should have gone across goal like she did in this game a season ago. But I tell you what, that is a superb stop from Bagley. Gets up well, gets a hand behind it and tips it over the bar. That's a huge stop to keep this game level. And Brighton deal with the corner well.
Phil says Villa should have just had a penalty for me. Oh, controversy in that game. I look forward to seeing that. Cuthbert, ball in. It's blocked towards the goal, and that will be a Chelsea corner. And Chelsea at the moment putting Brighton under the cosh considerably.
Yeah, again, it's really good pressure from Chelsea. I think the last 5 minutes we've just seen a few more clear-cut chances. Walsh hit the post. Baltimore's just been denied with a big save. And you feel that goal is coming.
Cuthbert on this. We know Chelsea haven't threatened much from corners this season. Will this be any different? Well, it's almost cleared away by Lucy Bronze. Bright going for an overhead kick and looks to have hurt herself in the process. And then it's punted clear by Brighton. And Peng will come and collect. Hopefully, Bright is okay. Here is Carpenter. Bronze. Emily Bright is back to her feet, tough as nails.
I was more worried for
the defence.
Nadine Nordam if she volleyed in the chest.
Just baked her head off. Here's Germer. Back to Bright. Walsh. Germer. Baltimore. Looked for that run off the shoulder from Thompson, which is a good bit of movement, but it's blocked.
Chelsea will want a goal before half-time. I know we've still got 20 minutes at least, but it's very important because if Brighton can hold on till half-time, that will give them a chance just to reset and to go again. Chelsea will want to take the lead before the break.
Bronze. Carpenter. Now it's Beaver Jones. Bright. Across to Germer. Bright into Bronze. Plays it inside to Walsh. Here's Carpenter, knocks it down the line. Cuthbert, ball across the box. Venegas does well to get in front of it. And now Cuthbert battling away with Marissa Ollis-Lagers. That's out for a Chelsea throw. No goals yet in the opening 25 minutes of any of the WSL games, which I think shows how close all the ties are. You've got West Ham and Liverpool who can't afford to drop points. Leicester, based on the stats, have had the better of London City in the opening 25 minutes. 4 shots to none, 1 on target to none, and 1 big chance created from Leicester, despite the fact London City have had 70% of the ball.
Rick Passmore still not wanting pass more. Pass less.
Pass never. Out now for another Chelsea corner. Chelsea have got to make more of these corners.
Yeah.
We've spoken a lot about, last weekend there was the famous, infamous now, Sunday Baltimore, 2 corners in a row that were absolutely tragic, and Sonia Van bellowing at her in French. So can Chelsea do something better from these set pieces? James back to Baltimore, who looks to take aim. It's blocked, and it will be cleared away by Haley.
Don't mind it going short, because as you say, the corners going into the box haven't been brilliant from Baltimore, but that was decision making is going to be better there. Baltimore, you've got a defender a yard in front of you. You're not going to cross it through them.
She had no plan B there. I think we can see what the routine was, but so could Brighton. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And there was no sort of way of dealing with that. James into the area, not met by Beaver Jones again there, and McLaughlin gets it clear.
Yeah, Beaver Jones just can't get involved. And it's not necessarily her fault. The way Chelsea are playing is it needs a bit more of a target forward in there, a bit more of an aerial presence. I think if that'd be the one area I'd change for Chelsea. Because if you can get, obviously we know how good Sam Kerr and Mackay in there. If you get one of those two on to start meeting these crosses, then Brighton are going to be in trouble.
The problem is Beaver Jones is excellent against a high line because you can get in behind, but no one's going to play a high line against Chelsea anymore.
Yeah.
Because they've all seen what happens when you do. That's why, even like Liverpool, who played a high line against Arsenal of all teams, when Blackstenius came on, they didn't want to play a high line against Chelsea because they know that the threat that Chelsea can pose in behind. So, yeah, it's interesting on Beaver Jones not involved at all. 2 touches in this game.
Yeah, it's not ideal for your starting striker to only touch the ball twice.
No. Especially when Chelsea have had 72% possession.
Wow.
In these early stages. Walsh into Beaver Jones, tries to play it to Cuthbert, who's brought down. I think that's just more of her running into the bodies than anyone bringing her down. Lauren James uses her body to win that back, and I think Manuela Venegas gets a little bit lucky there. Because I don't think there was too much wrong with what James has done.
Yeah, it's assertive for James, but I think Venegas has done well there to win the free kick.
Yeah. Phil says, huge moment for Chelsea. Losing after a beaten run is either a kick up the bum or the start of a bad run. The result today is a big one for them. Yeah, absolutely. I think if they were to lose, if Chelsea were to lose or even draw today, and it's 7 or 9 points behind City, that's starting to look very insurmountable. Bar City having a major collapse and bringing back Nick Cushing, I just don't see anyone catching up 9 points.
Yeah.
So.
Even the gap now, City have got to everybody. Of course, they got to beat Villa today. And that's quite interesting that they have been held there for the first half an hour.
No, held by for 70 minutes by Leicester. It's because Khadija Shaw just didn't want to put it in the
That
goal
is
for
true.
some reason.
But by the
Here's
sound,
Baltimore carrying it forwards. Out now to Thompson, who wants to take on Minami. Thompson now has the beating of a ball into the box, sent away by Hayes. Here's Germer.
I think she could have come inside there, Thompson.
Baltimore. Ball into the box. Cleared away by Nordam. I don't know why Chelsea are crossing the ball continuously with Beaver Jones on.
Yeah, I know.
And then when Sam Kerr's on there, don't put the ball in the box. It is so bizarre to me.
It's like there. Because it's also become predictable. Because Minami there on Thompson shifted her body weight to the right because she knew Thompson was going to cut it back. Cross it. But if Thompson then shifted that back onto her right, Minami would have ran off the pitch and Thompson would have had an opportunity to cut inside and shoot.
Phil says City holding Villa so far, Villa having the best of it. I think Villa are such an underrated side.
Oh, what a pass.
It's a brilliant ball, splitting the defensive line here. Sondi Baltimore wants to take on McLaughlin, waits for the overlap of James, now finds Lauren James, who can take on Minami, and Minami will block it and keeps it in play as well. Hooking it away. That'll be back in possession of Chelsea. Here's Germer. Baltimore. Back to Germer. Now Millie Bright. Out to Naomi Germer. Baltimore. Germer. Goes back to Olivia Peng. Now Bright. Opens up the body, looking to play it to the right-hand side. Cuthbert tries to poke it back to Bronze, who was caught there by Kafaji, but does get the better of the challenge. And it's now that Chelsea have got the ball, it's been given as a Chelsea free kick.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. It was a foul, don't get me wrong, but yeah, Chelsea company had possession. Don't think that needs to be pulled back.
Well, Pastor, not very happy with that decision.
Yeah.
Understandably so. And now Bagley's down. I think that might be actually what her frustration was aimed at.
Yeah. And this is the problem for Chelsea, is they've done very, very well. And they've been the much better side for 32 minutes. But because you haven't got that goal, it's still 0-0. And now Brighton are going to slow the game down. Because they know if Brighton can get to half time, they know they're in this game.
Yeah.
That is going to be the concern for Chelsea.
Yeah, again, we've spoken about this loads, but this is something that needs to be assessed in the WSL, how they eradicate these goalkeeper injuries. Either we need to make sure the goalkeepers aren't getting attacked or something. But as I say, if we want to have tactical timeouts in the game, allow it. Have an actual tactical timeout.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But also there's a big difference between goalkeeper going down for a minor minute. I mean, Bagley here has taken her gloves off, taken her boot off. Might as well put a whole new kit on. Yeah, I can understand why we haven't seen a goal yet in any of the games. They are all such tight contests, and especially these sides know how big the games are today.
I think people would say Leicester, London City, but I think the way that Leicester play, being really deep, being really compact, and I don't know if London City do have all the answers. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a tight draw. Because unless Leicester City make a massive mistake, which is sort of where London City have capitalised against a lot of teams this season, I think they can definitely get a result. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And Leicester have had the better chances in the early part. Phil says, you've seen a rule where staff have to stay on the bench and players can't approach it. Yeah, well, this is what we said the other day when we were speaking about it. Either you go, we want tactical timeouts in the game, but instead of having this stupid thing where the goalkeeper sits down, we bring in proper tactical timeouts. Because I don't hate the idea, a side in the 70th minute wants to change how they're playing. I quite like the idea that the manager can actually do that. So I'd rather have it as an actual thing where each manager gets one tactical timeout to use a game.
Yeah.
So if they need to use it in the first half, they can, but they won't be able to use it, if they need it towards the end of the match. It would stop this nonsense. Or you go, we don't want any tactical timeouts, and then, as you say, Phil, that's the solution. You can't approach the benches. The managers have to go and sit down. No, actually, they have to do the Gareth Taylor. They'll have to go up in the stands, and they're only allowed to come down after the goalkeeper's back up. Here is Baltimore. Now to Germer. Knocks it into Payne. Chelsea looking to get back into the way they've been playing in the opening at 30 minutes. Here's Bronze. Plays down the line into Beaver Jones, who gets her first few touches of this game. That's out for a Brighton throw-in. Oh, the Slagers. Lloyd says, Jack, give the weak teams some cards to play. Yeah, I mean, I think everything is weighted against. A lot of things are weighted against the weaker sides, but I think if you had a proper tactical timeout thing, then it just makes it all a lot more transparent. Here is Minami. Because if a goalkeeper is genuinely injured, I will never believe them anymore. You know, it's difficult because you don't want to sit here and the goalkeeper's actually injured and you're going, well, Bagley's sat down, but we know what's happened there.
I think you can also tell.
True.
Yeah, it's not...
They're not wincing in pain, balling behind and Peng will claim that with no problem.
I mean, of course, some goalkeepers do a better job of acting than others.
Yeah. Peng. Courtney Brosnan is the Sean Connery of goalkeepers. The way she goes down. Bronze. Now Carpenter, and that's too aggressive again from Alison Haley. It's not the first time she's caught Bronze off the ball today. I'm
enjoying that battle, though. I think it's been a good contest between Bronze and Haley. They're both giving it as much as they can take it. It's been a good contest. I think Haley is winning that contest, definitely. Even if it is a bit, on the wrong side of the law. But, it's been a good battle. And
while Villa may have been holding City or vice versa early on, there is now a goal in that game. It's Manchester City 1, Aston Villa 0. Khadija Shaw with the goal.
Wow, I am stunned.
I'm shocked. Yeah, too easy, really. Their first shot of the game, according to football.
Oh, speaking of shooting, that is a terrible effort from Gurma. Don't mind it from there, but very high and very wide. Looped it very far over the goal, and Brighton will be happy to see shots like that all day long. Yeah, it's just that quality in the final third. They've got the players for it, but just not, well, at least not right now. The chances to put the ball in the back of the net. But yeah, that's a big goal for City because that's the kind of fixture they could easily slip up at. But to take a lead there is a good start.
The red card just absolutely killed the game of the way between West Ham and Liverpool. Liverpool have gone to a back five, I think, with Silcock and Evans coming on.
They made 2 changes.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah, I've got 5 subs now, so...
They need the point, don't they?
Yeah,
they're absolutely playing for the point.
But yeah, it's kind of killed them. They took off McLean and Parry as well, which I'm a little confused by what they've done there, but I assume it's Kapox at right wing back, Enderby and Olsen as some sort of front 2, and then a midfield 2 of Holland and Nagano.
I guess they still want some threat, don't they? So Kapox can still get up when if they get an opportunity to come forwards.
Either that's just some sort of like block of 4-4-1. Full forwards from Brighton, headed down by Bright. Similar to the Everton game, this Chelsea not really penetrating early on here. Brighton haven't been out of their own half. Haven't had a shot yet. Here's James, wants to take on Venegas. Wins it back in there, James. Now Cuthbert. Back in to Lauren James, who's got the space and time to turn. Carpenter. Back to Lauren James. Who puts the ball into a great area. Chance for Thompson, straight to Bagley. Wow. Big start, but that should be 1-0 Chelsea again. Brilliant ball from Lauren James. Thompson heading it straight at the goalkeeper. Not sure she could have done much more with that one. Yeah, it just doesn't look comfortable heading it, really. Makes contact with it. But yeah.
Wow.
I think she does the best she can there.
Yeah. Best chance of the game so far, and it's better from Lauren James. The floated, looped balls in obviously weren't working, but that one was a bit flatter and ended up dropping quite low. It almost turned into a diving header for Thompson. But yeah, not really much more. She couldn't really got any much that close to goal. You kind of need the power to beat the keeper rather than direction, because you're not going to be able to flick that anywhere else. It's not a bad header. Got the wrong side of Minami. But yeah, that's another big save from Bagley. But definitely Chelsea's best chance of the half so far.
They can't contain James. She's an absolutely phenomenal player, Lauren James.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. And yeah, creating so many opportunities. It's now on Chelsea to put one away. The hold up is here. Bagley has happily wasted a minute. And the referee hasn't much to say about it. Cleared away by Bright. Now Beaver Jones tries to hold it up. Venegas, though, winning it back. Bronze shielding Bright to make the clearance. One in there by Simmons. Bounces through to Seike. And one back by Bronze. Seike's flick on, not coming off. Here's Peng. Bright under a lot of pressure here. Got to be careful with that touch, Millie. Bright under a lot of pressure from Kafaji. Gets away with it. Just so slow there. How Bright has to realise she's got 4 players around her. And the touch, it's so slow.
Yeah, back towards your own goal. You can't afford to be slow, but also that's way too... in that position, you can't expect to try and turn out of pressure. Especially when you are Millie Bright. Yeah, it's... Again, that's you can't afford to take those risks.
Here's Haley. Back to Venegas now. Ball into the box. Headed away well by James. And now Beaver Jones doesn't anticipate Oleslager's there. Haley back inside. Cuthbert's got back in. Miscommunication between her and Walsh. One back by Lucy Bronze. He'll create the space now to knock it down the line. Here's Carpenter. Played out by Nordam.
And this is what happens when you play well and you're the better side for 40-odd minutes, and then you're just getting towards half-time and suddenly Brighton are just putting you under a bit of pressure. Again, good from Thompson. Really good hold-up from Thompson. But this is what sides do. The longer it stays 0-0, the more Brighton will be invited to get involved in this game and start trying to be a bit more positive.
Here is Naomi Germer. Cuthbert. And now Walsh. Plays it into Thompson. Here's Sondy Baltimore. Who can look to drive inside. Beats McLaughlin with ease. Who can Baltimore pick out now? Will take aim herself. Oh, that's a brilliant strike from Sondy Baltimore. A player who was so clinical last season, yet to find the score sheet this. But that is her first goal of the campaign, and what a way to find it. Sondy Baltimore chops inside, and that is one hell of an effort. Under no pressure, Brighton failed to react. Sondy Baltimore, what a hit.
Oh no, right foot, absolutely brilliant from Baltimore. Superb solo goal, picks the ball up off Thompson, skips past McLaughlin superbly, and incredibly cuts back on herself as well. And Brighton, again, they don't react, they don't get out to her, and she does really well to catch it. Whether she was initially looking for the cross or the shot, doesn't matter, picks out the top corner. And Chelsea finally have the lead. It's a brilliant effort. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
It's too easy from Rachel McLaughlin. Gets done twice. Lovely stuff from Sondy Baltimore. So silky. And this strike wraps her foot around the ball. And that is a brilliant effort. Bagley with no chance clatters into Beaver Jones as Chelsea attackers rushed forward in case there was a rebound. But Baltimore buries it in the back of the net. Chelsea 1, Brighton 0.
Huge goal. I mentioned Chelsea would want to take the lead before half-time. Don't allow Brighton to have that reset. That's a big goal. Very important.
What will be interesting now is if Chelsea can take advantage. Because I think the biggest problem this season, or one of the biggest problems, and the reason we've seen Chelsea sort of struggle to completely bully teams, is that the game state doesn't shift early enough. Because now Brighton have kind of got to commit to this game. Got to go forwards a little bit more. And well, they have. Amelia Bright's caught out there and she drags Haley down. Bright shocked, but again, we've seen this so much of Bright this season. Too slow to react, has to commit a foul to get away with it.
Yeah, again, it's not been Minnie's Bright season, and it's another 45 minutes where not had much to do when she's tested. Yeah, the problem is, I think she's a bit unlucky because Haley slips, but
she's got her hands.
No. I'm finished.
The whole time.
The actual bit where Haley falls down, she slips over. But as you say, she's got her hands on her, so you're always you're always going to make it look like you've done it. You can't afford to defend like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same problem where Haley spins so early there, and Bright doesn't react to that, and instead has to grab her to hold her back because she knows if she gets around her, Bright isn't catching up.
Yeah.
Free kick now for Brighton. And it is Simmons and Oleslagers over this. It will be Marissa Oleslagers to strike. Goes low into the wall. McLaughlin now from range. Oh, that one isn't going to trouble paying, doesn't beat the first player. Here is Sondy Baltimore. Under pressure from Ola Slagers. Trying to just create a little bit of space to clear this away, and does brilliantly there, Baltimore. And I think she's won a throw-in for good measure. Kafaji, lucky if she gets away with that reaction to the liner, and that is 3 minutes of additional time in this first half then. But yeah, big important goal for Chelsea. The question will now be, can they kick on? I think there's a real air of frustration for Brighton in this game. I'm not really sure where it's come from. It seems to be more the attackers because they're not really getting in this game, but Chelsea have got to use that.
Yeah.
James knocking it in behind. No one up there, though, for Chelsea. Thompson will put Hayes under pressure. Here's Bagley.
I think it's one of those for Brighton where, we speak about it. They don't want to play this way, but Vidicic will feel like he has to stop Chelsea. They want to play free-flowing, attacking, positive football. That's the kind of players they've got, and that's what Vidicic and the team want to do. But if they do that against Chelsea, you're just going to get caught out and overran. So they're having to play deeper, and as you say, the attackers aren't really getting a kick. So I think that they'll definitely be frustrated with their lack of involvement in this game. That is superb from Lauren James to absolutely skip past Simmons.
Skip past Skimmons. Here is Carpenter. Catch great. The space for the cross is a really good block from Ola Slagers. Chelsea now with a corner.
Again, it's just brilliance from Lauren James. Absolute brilliance. They just can't get nearer. And again, Chelsea have a corner, and a second goal now would be crucial and would be a great time to score on the stroke of half time. Double your lead and put yourselves in a very good position.
Baltimore knocks it there in towards the area. It's cleared away, and it's going to fall for Ellie Carpenter.
I can't wait for the day we see Chelsea score a corner.
Okay. Ball in. Drops down now to Cuthbert. And while there is an offside flag up there, so that will be a Brighton free kick. Here is Bagley. Another goal in the game between Manchester City and Aston Villa. It's Man City 2, Aston Villa 0. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, it's Khadija Shaw once again.
Wow. Yeah. City are looking very complete at the moment.
Yeah, goal number 10 for Shaw this season.
It's quite good.
In Matchweek 11.
Ridiculous. To be fair, by her usual numbers, that's not great. But that is.
Well, she started somewhat slow, but she's now really hit her rhythm. 2 goals against Leicester, 2 goals again today.
But that's big.
If she keeps doing that, there's no way anyone other than City wins the league.
That's big for City because, of course, we're not watching the game, but from what people are saying, it doesn't seem like they've had it all their own way. But the fact that they are still winning that game and now they've got a 2-goal margin.
Yeah, they've had 2 shots.
Yeah.
And they've both got it. That's been the biggest difference. If you look at Chelsea in this game, absolutely dominant in terms of being able to hold the ball and territorial dominance, but those 8 shots haven't been converted to 8 goals. I don't think anyone would be able to do that apart from Khadija Shaw, though. That is half-time here at the Broadfield Stadium. Brighton 0, Chelsea 1. The only goal of the game so far. A wonderful effort from Sondy Baltimore, and Chelsea have been able to dictate this game. Brighton yet to register a shot on target. Chelsea just 3 shots on target, but they have crucially found a leading goal.
Yeah, big from Chelsea. Good 45 minutes. A good reaction. We saw a brilliant performance in the midweek, but we know that they needed to back it up in the league, and going into half-time leading away at Brighton is not a bad place to be. A brilliant bit of magic that from Baltimore. But yeah, I think Chelsea, of course, it's not been perfect, and there probably could have been a few, but they have dominated. It hasn't been perfect in front of goal, but they've had all of the ball, not done enough with it, and the chances have been not as clear-cut as they'd hoped for. But when you've got players like Sondy Baltimore who can put it in the top corner, it doesn't necessarily matter. But yeah, Chelsea still not perfect, but a lot better than what we saw against Everton. Just looks a bit more cutthroat and a bit more decisive in the final third. And if someone had got on the end of all of these crosses they've been putting in the box, then Chelsea could have probably scored quite a few more.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil says that's the difference. Bunny is composed and clinical. Hansen's wasted her chances with rushed shots. So Just a little update on that game. No goals in either of the other two matches so far. West Ham 0, Liverpool 0 as that one goes into half-time. Liverpool's ill discipline has cost them there. And Leicester 0, London City 0. Leicester with 5 shots. London City starting to create more towards the end of the half, but yet to find a goal in that game so far. So, yeah, interesting to see that game be as evenly matched as it's been. But for Chelsea here, I think this has been a very good performance. I think what is lacking now is that penetration once again. Chelsea not really breaking down Brighton in the way they'd want to. And the 2 big chances they've created, or 3 big chances I would say, or main chances, have been that ball across the box from Lauren James, which was very unlucky not to be on target. And they created that because they used the width really well and created space in the half space, and that gave James that pocket to run into and then utilise. We saw an opportunity where James was able to get into the right half space and cross that ball into the area, and Thompson heads it straight at the keeper. That very much could have been another opening goal of the game. And then, of course, the goal from Sondy Baltimore, created all by Sondy Baltimore, but also by the movement of Alyssa Thompson. They'll be incredibly underrated here, but Thompson shifts it to Baltimore. What Thompson then does is, rather than getting in the way or not really doing anything, her run out wide to create the space for Baltimore to then come inside is what drags that Brighton defence out again. And this is what we've been saying a lot about Chelsea not having the width, especially against Everton. I think that's the biggest issue. Was when you had Thompson on the right, she wants to come inside, and you've got Baltimore on the left, she wants to come inside, and you've got James on the left, she wants to come inside. So you end up with a lot of players in central areas, but actually to create space for those players in central areas, you need players that are going to hold the width. It's why Carnery, despite not being the most productive player, has been so important for Chelsea. Because he's a right winger who wants to hold the width. And that creates space in the pockets then for players like your Lauren Jameses. And that's where she's absolutely thriving today. Because there's no right winger. It's Ellie Carpenter, who definitely wants to hug the touchline. And that is then giving someone for Brighton to have to deal with. And it gives James that little bit more space, or a lot more space really, in that right half space. She's been phenomenal from that position so far. And yeah, I think it's been a much better performance from Chelsea. They're creating much better chances. It'll be now if they can step it up a notch, so they can pull Brighton apart properly, and if they can start to get chances for Angie Beever-Jones especially, because I think she's struggled to be involved.
Yeah, she has struggled being involved. Mentioned it in that during that first half. It's not really her kind of game. Chelsea, as you say, are doing very, very well in wide areas, and that's generating a lot of crossing opportunities, which isn't where Beever-Jones is really going to thrive, especially up against, I think, Caitlin Hayes in there, who has so far seemed to meet every single cross that that Chelsea put in there. So it's not Beever-Jones's game, but she can still get involved in the build-up play and still make those off the ball runs to create space as part of, you mentioned Thompson and James doing it there, but Beever-Jones can also play a part in that. So it's important that I think that if Beever-Jones doesn't come off, then she can still definitely play a part and does need to get. Chelsea will want her involved in the game more, helping to link up in the central areas, or just creating space for someone else to run in. Because if Beever-Jones can drag defenders away, and then Chelsea can cross it back to someone like an Erin Cuthbert who's running in, then we know Erin Cuthbert has got a very good chance of meeting that ball and putting it in the back of the net. So it's just about Chelsea doing really well in wide areas and getting but there's no point in looping them in towards Beever-Jones, because you're not going to get anything. Use Beever-Jones as your dummy, and then look for those cutbacks, look for those, or even if you go low driven crosses towards Beever-Jones, she's got a much better chance of getting on the end of it and making something happen. So it's been good. I just think the direction and the intention with the balls into the box has got to be tweaked a little bit, because at the moment it is just floating them in towards the head of Caitlin Hayes.
Yeah, I can't tell Beever-Jones acting too much like her, or not enough like her. She needs to be like she's making that run in. She needs to make that run before. She needs to be in the penalty area, because it will draw players who are expecting then that cross. And then, as you say, it needs to be that cutback. So I don't know if she needs to be less trying to actually meet the ball in the box, or more trying to meet the ball, more make it look like at least you're trying to meet the ball in the area. I think, she's got to sound like dummy and create the space then for players behind her to rush onto it on the edge of the box, because that's where Chelsea will create chances. I mean, for Baltimore's goal as well, if Beever-Jones makes that run sooner, then Chelsea would have had options on the edge of the box, because it draws that back line deeper. What we saw there was the first time that Chelsea have really been able to move with the ball quick enough that Brighton's defence wasn't set in. And that's why you see this confusion where they've got 6 players stood in their own penalty area, but none of them are really making any attempts to stop that goal.
Yeah, exactly that. I think they all kind of got caught on top of each other, and you even see it there with Beaver Jones moving, because Chelsea in the end had 3 players running in at the back post with Lauren James Carpenter and Beaver Jones, and that kind of Brighton didn't really know what to do, because you've got Baltimore with the ball running at you from the left hand side, but you've got 3 opposition players over your shoulder, and it's very hard to work out for them what to do there, and it meant they focused on the players at the back post, and it allowed Baltimore to come in and score a brilliant goal.
Yeah, just watching those Khadija Shaw goals then for Manchester City, it's one of those. I know Anna Patton's got a very tough job today dealing with Khadija Shaw, but I think on both those examples she should do a lot better.
Yeah, Khadija Shaw is an incredible player, but you have to realise that and be smart about it. Give her a yard. No, not give her a yard. So give her
any yards.
Don't give her any. Don't give her any yards. But in terms of if you're too close to her, she will just win that duel, and then you're usually on the floor in a bit of pain, and while Khadija Shaw is running through on goal. So you have to find a good balance between don't step off her and allow her just to shoot and run past you, but don't be so close to her that she will just bully you off the ball. But yeah, Patton there got it slightly wrong, and 2 clinical finishes from Shaw. It's exactly what she does, and it's one of the main reasons why City are currently sat top of the league.
Phil says the downside, or not Angela Jones, the downside is spending so much of her development out wide. The fine aspects of the position, like dummy runs, get missed. I also think people forget, because Beaver Jones is so talented, that she is still only 22. She's still an incredibly young player. So I think it's absolutely fine that there are aspects of her game that aren't perfect. You'd expect as she develops that she'll develop her physical profile, that she'll become a more physical player, and that intelligence, as Phil speaks about, comes with experience. So I wouldn't be too concerned. I think this is a rather young Chelsea team, or at least it will be once. If you think at the end of the season, you'd expect that Millie Bright will leave. You'd expect a few of those older heads will leave. The core of this Chelsea team is quite young. A lot of the key players, your likes of Lauren James, still only 24. Alyssa Thompson is still only 21. Carpenter's only 25. So it's not the oldest team. It's Baltimore 25, Germa 25.
Yeah.
So it's Chelsea have had. I think what Chelsea have done so well in terms of squad management is that they never end up with a team of where it's either really young or really old. It's going to sort of balance itself out, because you'd say with Bright leaving, there are players that are going to step into those positions just fine. I'd look at a Germa Berman backline, and that wouldn't concern me, or a Germa Bjorn. So and even Katisha Buchanan, to be fair, you'd expect that if she recovers from ACL injury well, that she could be a part of this squad next season. So yeah, Chelsea are kind of developing again, and I think this should be last season was a fantastic treble-winning campaign, but it was almost the end of the cycle.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Bompastor coming in, it feels like the start of the cycle, but that was almost the end of the cycle. And this is the start of that new cycle. A little bit like Arne Slot at Liverpool, where you look at like last season, he won the league at Liverpool, but a big reason why Liverpool men won the league is because they'd built for so long something brilliant under Jurgen Klopp, and he just very much didn't change loads and continue that success. This season, they're rebuilding a lot of that squad, and they've brought in loads of new players, and it's not really clicking just yet. But I think it's a very similar situation with Chelsea without us really realising, because a lot of the players, we think, they've been at Chelsea for ages, but actually this is Baltimore's second season. This is Germa's first season, really. She only joined January and missed most of last season. This is Bronze's second season at Chelsea. It's Kira Walsh's second season at Chelsea, or first full season actually. He joined in January as well. It's Ellie Carpenter's second season at Chelsea, first season at Chelsea. I forget she's only been here since the start of the season. Thompson's first season. So of course you've still got your Cuthberts in there, and you've still got your Millie Brights, but this is a very new Chelsea team.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is, and I think that it's why potentially it hasn't gone as well as everyone thought it, because last season it was kind of course Bompastor did some of their own stuff, but it was also a lot of it was benefiting off the brilliant work that Emma Hayes did. But this season now it's Bompastor on her own, and it's her just figuring out what she wants to do and how she wants Chelsea to play. Of course it will work at some point, and Chelsea will get it working together. And as you say, there's those players play more minutes and spend longer at the club and spend longer with each other mainly.
Well, it'll be the same sort of thing as Hayes had, where there was a couple players that chopped and changed, but the core of the team, your Wrighton, Kerr, Cuthbert, I'd even extend it to Magdalena Eriksson,
Yeah.
Millie Bright. That core stayed the same throughout. Jess Carter, Ann-Katrin Berger. That stayed the same throughout her reign, really. And of course, there were players who came and go, like your Pernilla Harders, but the core of the team stayed the same. And Chelsea are now building out that core.
Yeah.
I think what will be very interesting is that I think Arsenal are sort of the stage behind Chelsea where they now need to bring in those younger players. The problem is they haven't prepared ahead of time. And so that's I think the key difference at the moment is between those two is that Arsenal are suffering from sort of longer term squad building issues. People talk about in the short term, Claire Wheatley should be doing better. It's actually that they're suffering from the fact they didn't prepare a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see sort of the next evolution of Chelsea as you'd expect a few players to leave next summer. There's a load that are out of contract. I think a few of those older players will move on. But I think what is really positive for Chelsea is that you wouldn't be concerned with Bright leaving. You'd think Bright leaving, even 2 seasons ago, you'd have been really worried about what Chelsea were going to do. I think what Chelsea have done very well is brought in players who are ready to step up into those starting positions once Millie Bright does depart.
But I think Chelsea are in a really nice position where, again, it is that shift from Hayes to Bonpastor, where we're in a world where Brighton and Carnegie could all leave at the end of the season. Players who, over the last couple of years, were real staple holders of the Chelsea team, but now they're in a position where if they leave, it's not necessarily a massive problem. I mean, Brighton and Carnegie haven't really had too many minutes this season anyway because of the players Chelsea have brought in. So it's one of those where it's just that changing of the guard a little bit. Those players were brilliant, and the success they brought Chelsea was absolutely phenomenal. But this is a bit of a new era. This is Bonpastor. There are new, younger, more exciting, more, even more world-class players, that are now coming through and are going to take those roles and continue to for Chelsea's sake, hopefully, keep delivering perfect results. But it's what happens in football. You have this, serial winning side, but as years goes on, that they come down, you change manager, and now it's going to be a new way. It's going to be a bit of a new way of doing things. So with new players guiding it there, but hopefully the kind of the same results with the same success.
Yeah, and I love that next season Chelsea probably have like one 30-year-old player. Who is Bronze going to talk to?
Yeah,
like all these 20, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds. There's a good group of like 25-year-olds up to 27-year-olds, and then there's just a 35-year-old Lucy Bronze. Bonner's red card, just seeing a clip of that, completely misses the ball when Ueki's through on goal. I don't think she got many complaints there, no?
I want to see another angle of that.
It looked like there was a player sort of covering her, but...
My two questions are that Clark is running right next to her and Ueki's touch is away from goal. But yeah, it's one of those where it's definitely in contention for a dog soap. But again, that wasn't necessary from Bonner, and that will be the main takeaway. Chelsea are making a double change play, get on to that moment, but the main takeaway from that there is that even though she is through on goal, and it probably is a red card, that wasn't necessary from Bonner. Doesn't need to do that, and even whether you think it's a red card or not, that's a silly challenge to make in that position.
There we go. Welcome to the art of being a centre half for Liverpool. Double change then, so it's going to be Sam Kerr on and Aggie Weaver-Jones off. I think that is a very fair decision at this stage in the game. And it's Lauren James off, the captain on. Is that just about managing Lauren James? Has she, is she feeling something potentially? I think that's definitely, just managing minutes.
Yeah, it has to be, because Lauren James was absolutely magical in that first 45 minutes. I don't think she was the problem. No. But yeah, Kurt, again, for Weaver-Jones, that's a perfect change. It's exactly what we said needs to happen. But now, we need to see Chelsea keep up that consistency of deliveries. Don't start playing pretty fit in the penalty area. Keep putting the balls in the box, because Sam Kerr will get on the end of them and probably head at least one of them home.
And I want to see something good from Vika Captain. I remember back to that City game at the start of the season. She was brilliant in that right half space role. We're back underway in this game. Brighton taking on Chelsea. Chelsea leading by a goal to nil. Can the champions kick on as they look to pursue City in their defence of the title, or will Brighton find a way back into this game? Well, we're passing like that. Brighton may have a chance. Here's Simmons. Venegas, not brilliant that, from Bronze. Shift inside now to Nordam, who opens up the space to go back to Minami. And that will invite pressure now from Chelsea. Kerr putting Venegas under it. Now Oleslagers. Back to Hayes, who's got Thompson all over it. Venegas. And Brighton play out the press well down the line into Seike. Bronze on her back, though. And now Chelsea regain possession. Cuthbert, Bronze. And now Bright.
Interesting that Haley looks to have come over to this right-hand side, maybe looking to target Germa. We know Haley and Bronze had a bit of a tussle and a good battle on that on Brighton's left-hand side.
I think they've moved Kafaji centrally and playing Seike on the left and Haley on the right, just looking to try and stretch Chelsea's back three a little bit. Although now Kafaji is dropping into potentially that's just out of possession.
But Hayes is definitely on this right. So that's a shift and potentially seeking an opportunity because Bronze has been able to match the physicality of Haley, maybe looking to target Naomi Germa a little bit. And
Yes, it's a front two for Brighton, which it was in the first half. So it's Seike and Haley have just swapped sides.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Bronze can play it in behind, headed down by Nordam. Venegas carries the ball forwards now, plays it into Kiko Seike, tries to shift it onto McLaughlin, a touch off Captain, that will take it behind McLaughlin, and Baltimore putting her under pressure here. Now back to Minami. Thompson forces her back to Hayes. Down the line, that'll be one back there by Germa. Now Baltimore. And the ball, not really in possession of either team at the moment. It's Brighton now who will try and settle it down. And there was a foul in there as Nordam caught Thompson.
Yeah, a bit of a double whammy. Nordam pulled her back and Minami then kicked her down. But yeah, Chelsea just need to be a little bit careful there. Brighton started pretty well. Venegas probably found it a bit too easily to dance down that left-hand side. But Blues just need to get back on the ball and pick up where they left off in that first half.
Yeah, risky pass from Peng there into Bright, but Chelsea play out of the press really well. Carpenter, now Cuthbert looking to turn out, has to go back to Bronze. He's going to open up the space to go down the line. Carpenter tries to go back inside the Bronze, and that catches Chelsea out, and here's Kiko Seike, who can take aim, and that will bobble just wide of the mark, but Chelsea undone there, trying to play out from the back. Bronze and Carpenter not quite getting it right. And fortunate that Kiko Seike's effort wasn't any better.
Yeah, Chelsea still in the dressing room at the moment. Haven't really come out for the second half, and it's sharp from Brighton. Turn the ball over. Seike's effort did not try out a corner. Did just fly all the way through.
Yeah, I didn't think that's just not a corner. But there we go.
Whistle. It was very close to creeping into that bottom corner, but it didn't take a touch off anyone. Alas, Brighton to get a corner.
Ola Slagers now puts it in towards the front post. Captain heads away. Brighton try and keep this alive. Hooked back into the area and Peng off her line well to claim it. She wants to play quickly, not happy with Haley obstructing her. Now the play out to the left-hand side. Baltimore trying to play through Minami there and has got a throw. I think she's quite lucky to get a throw from that.
Done that a couple of times, Baltimore. Just a player stood in front of her and just kicks it anyway. I'm not really sure what she's expecting to happen.
Whoever goes through him,
maybe.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it would be.
Cat's eye. That comes off Baltimore. Somehow she's got a throw in from that.
She kicked it off.
As now the lino, I think,
no.
See that. What? Even Chelsea dropped in.
Baltimore gave it back to Kafaji to take the throw, and the ref went, no, not having that. And now Baltimore's going to walk half out the line. And that is...
I've realised that one. Here's Cuthbert. Hold on to it well. That's out for another Chelsea throw. And Baltimore once again take liberties with the line. And throws it forward, looking for Kerr. It's deflected off. And Minami stops Thompson getting there. Now Bagley. And Brighton will build up. Bagley knocks out to the right-hand side. Haley. Germa wins it back, and that's really strong from Naomi Germa in there. Here's Thompson. Can't quite hold on to that ball. Haley round the corner into Simmons, who can't hold on to it either. Walsh sees off a rogue challenge there from Maisie Simmons, who just seemed to back into Kira Walsh. Bronze down the line. Exchanges with Kerr, now into Carpenter. Plays inside to Walsh. Let's go back down the line. And it's going to bobble through to Erin Cuthbert. Players in the box now. She can pick anyone out. It's a good ball. And it's her own goal, I think, from Caitlin Hayes. Sam Kerr may try and take credit, but that definitely came off the head there of Caitlin Hayes. But it's Brighton 0, Chelsea 2. And this is what you get when you put Sam Kerr in the area, because Brighton have to get ahead to this. With Sam Kerr's movement towards the front post, Hayes has to make some sort of contact with it, just gets it all wrong.
Yeah, really good ball in from Cuff, but we said they had to keep the pressure on and keep putting crosses in, and as you say, it's just the movement from Kerr. It's what B. Jones wasn't doing.
She sees Cuthbert come inside, and there, she darts. Unfortunately, Sky don't know how to show a replay, but it's brilliant.
Hayes she knows she has to get something on it, because if she doesn't, Sam Kerr's going to put it in the net anyway.
Yeah.
But Hayes, she looked to just try and head it past the post, and put it out for a corner, but heads it the wrong side of the post and into the back of her own net.
Yeah, I feel for Hayes there, but she has to make some sort of contact with the ball. If not, it's a Sam Kerr goal anyway. So one of those. She'll be annoyed that she's not managed to pull off what she was trying to do. But yeah.
The actual header isn't the bit that gets wrong. The bit she gets wrong is allowing Kerr to get the wrong side of her, which then means that she has to make contact with it. But yeah, Brighton, not the start they wanted to the second half. Chelsea, exactly what they were hoping for, and that change from Bompastor already paying dividends.
Walsh now loads of space to drive into, shifts it out to Naomi Girma, who will slip it in behind. That's going to run all the way through to Bagley. Very annoyed I took Erin Cuthbert out of my fantasy team this week for Lauren James now.
Oh, yes.
But I thought Lauren James would do something, and to be fair, she was brilliant.
She was.
In the first half. So, right, and building out from the back, here is Venegas. Back now to Bagley.
That's a big goal, though, because as you say, Chelsea, one of their biggest problems has been failing to kick on, and we've seen a lot of these nervy 1-0 score lines or 1-1 draws where Chelsea just haven't been able to find a winner or a second goal. But to get the second goal here, for Brighton to turn this around, you're asking for a lot to happen. It's exactly what Chelsea need. That second goal just gives them a bit more of a cushion.
Absolutely. Cuthbert penalised there for catching Nadine Nordau, and that will be a Brighton free kick.
Yeah, wasn't too much wrong with it. Just a little bit late, stuck a leg out, tripped her up.
Yeah. And Frank Kirby out to warm up. An absolute Chelsea legend. 208 appearances, 116 goals.
Ridiculous.
11 major trophies.
Not bad.
It's not a bad collection, is it?
Encouraging for Brighton to have her though back out and warming up, and
yeah, they've missed someone creative in the final third dearly, and especially with no Helena Kankovic today. Here's Thompson looking to carry the ball forwards, wants to go down the line here and take on Minami. Needs some support. Goes back now to Cuthbert, Baltimore into Walsh. Lovely turn there, and that catches Kafaji out. Does now get back in, and on her back is Cuthbert under a lot of pressure from Nordam, and there is a foul in there. I think it was more Kafaji on Walsh than it was Nordam on Cuthbert, but a bit of pulling from both players.
Yeah.
Andre with a load of Brazilian flags, and Chelsea, love to see it. Welcome from Brazil. And Kade said, if you were to make a decision right now, would you renew Kerr's contract? That's a tough one. Yes, I would. I think Beaver Jones is still very young, and Mara Ramirez is currently out injured. So you have to consider. We don't know what's going to happen with Ramirez. Hopefully she'll be absolutely fine, but you don't want to tear up Kerr's contract and end up with an inexperienced Beaver Jones and no Mara Ramirez. So I think I would renew Sam Kerr's contract. I still think there's huge commercial appeal to keeping Kerr at Chelsea. I mean, we've seen the Australia post-season tournament, which I'll never be on board with post-season friendlies, but there we go. Chelsea are making a trip to Australia. And yeah, I mean, she's obviously a huge part of why they're doing that. There's no Australian players in the men's team, so the fact the men's team are going up there as well, says a lot. I think Sam Kerr is still a really important part of this Chelsea team, and she hasn't shown signs of declining. Whereas with Brighton, and obviously she's come back from a major injury, with Brighton and Bright, there are those signs of decline. And with some of the other players that are perhaps up for consideration, like Yakana Reeds, there are questions around her level. There's no questions around Sam Kerr's level. And I think until she starts showing those signs of decline, I wouldn't be massively concerned about. I think she'll become more of a rotation and bench player, definitely. especially with Ramirez and Beaver Jones back. As Beaver Jones continues to develop, she's going to sort of be that third choice striker. But
Yeah.
there's still going to be a lot of minutes for her to be involved in. I think, especially if we're thinking like second half of the season, when Chelsea will be hoping again to be in 3 competitions. Obviously, we know that there's no League Cup now for teams that are in the Champions League. So that won't be, that'll be less minutes, but there'll still be loads of minutes to go round. And yeah, I think Chelsea need Sam Kerr as an option and to bring a bit of experience, especially if a lot of other leaders are going to depart.
Yeah.
Here's Walsh, lovely movement in the penalty area. Looks to clip it to the back post. Too much on that though from Kira Walsh, and that will go out the other side for a Brighton throw.
Yeah, it's the way Kerr has come back in and just picked, not, of course, it's not the ridiculous levels we saw a few years back. That's, partly due to injury, but it's also because the quality of the league has got a lot better. But the way she's come back and already got on the score sheet in the league, already got in the score sheet in the Champions League, it's just to come back and to already be banging in the goals just shows how good she still is.
Bronson looking down the line. Walsh battling away for it. Kafaji comes away with the ball. Nordam cleared away by Olaslagers. That was the best example of Chelsea creating more space in the pocket, using the width well. Just couldn't quite find Walsh. Walsh isn't really the player you want making the run into the pocket.
No.
But yeah, that was a nice passage from Chelsea. It's Brighton now with possession. Simmons. Now to Olaslagers. Great pressure from Carpenter. And she wins the ball back. She's trying to carry it forwards. And that is quite a blatant foul from Olaslagers. And that'll be a Chelsea free kick. But I think it depends on if Kerr is willing to rotate. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Sam Kerr is expecting that she's going to play 100% of minutes, though. Especially given she's now, 32, I want to say?
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't think there's going to be, 32. I don't think there's going to be that expectation. She's going to be starting week in, week out. So, yeah, I wouldn't be in a rush to move her on. We've got a goal in the game between Leicester City and London City Lionesses. It's Leicester City 1, London City 0. And that is a big goal. A huge performance based on the stats so far from Leicester. All of the ball, London City, but they haven't created anything with it. And Leicester have punished them. Not sure who's got that goal just yet. But Leicester City do lead by a goal to 0.
Kirby on for Kafaji, by the way, in that break. So big positives for Brighton. Good reception for the Chelsea fans, of course, and they'll be hoping that she can add something to give them some kind of light in the attacking third. But yeah, massive goal for Leicester. That would be a huge 3 points in the relegation fight, especially with West Ham and Liverpool currently drawing.
I'll put them only 6 points behind London City, by the way.
That is ridiculous.
Which is stupid, given that, that Leicester side isn't the strongest. They've done so well to maximise what they've got.
So that means they'll be 3 points behind Brighton?
No, 5 points behind Brighton. Brighton only a point off London City.
Oh, only a point. Oh, okay.
And then Leicester are 4 points off Villa.
Oh, okay.
Here is Kerr on the right-hand side. Puts it low. Vika Captain in towards the near post. That's a good save from Bagley. Gets down to it well. Chelsea playing some nice stuff, though, especially in this second half. Germer out now to the left-hand side. Baltimore. I think Brighton need changes as well. Chelsea subs just seem to have injected a lot more energy into this game than Brighton seem to have. And they come forwards again here. Captain. Ball in towards the back post. That's a bit of a mess in there, but Bagley does recover it.
Big game for Bagley. She's made some really good saves and has kept this scoreline below 2. The one to deny Baltimore in the first half, that was another good save there. Yeah. Denied Thompson from close range. Without that, this could have been 3 or 4-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. Ball out now to the left-hand side. Seke, Walsh. Great hold up there from Kira Walsh. Falling behind to Kerr. Trying to get a goal. That's a big save. Will drop for Thompson. That's good from Venegas. Gets in between Thompson and the ball. And it's brought down. And Kerr gutted. She really wanted to find the back of the net with that one.
Another magical pass that from Kira Walsh. Just threads it through the lines. Kerr times the run superbly. And again, I mentioned Bagley a moment ago. But that's another really good stop.
Yeah. Does really well, makes itself big and denies Sam Kerr. Big goal, by the way, in the game between West Ham and Liverpool. Unsurprisingly, it's West Ham 1, Liverpool 0. Well, hang on, sorry, because it's now West Ham 1, Liverpool 1 immediately. What is happening in that game?
if there's anything that
At the
sums
Pickwick
up,
Construction Stadium.
if there's anything that sums up West Ham level this season, it would be that.
It's Mia Enderby with her first ever WSL goal has drawn them level. Here's Cuthbert. Chelsea come forward, so we'll look at that game in a moment. Ball out to the left-hand side. Baltimore across the box. It's cleared away as Chelsea search for a third. Rico Ueki scores in the 57th minute, set up by Vivian Asayi. Immediately, Mia Enderby scores in the 59th minute.
Wow.
As they break away well. I mean, what on earth? And West Ham made some subs. What is happening in Dagenham?
Crazy, absolutely crazy, but it shows what the point they're at in that game. They both know how crucial it would be to win that match, but for West Ham to concede to Mia Enderby, great for Enderby to get her first goal. That's absolutely massive, and that'll be a big confidence boost, and that is a big goal for Liverpool to keep them in that game.
Indeed, and it's raining goals in the WSL right now. We can't look at them all at the same time as Man City have found a third, over for Gino with that one. The only surprise in that game is that it's not Khadija Shaw's hat-trick. But Viviana, meanwhile, with her second assist of the game.
Another solid performance.
Well, it looks like
City. It's just another game you look at it and go, that is not a bad Aston Villa side, and City are currently blowing them out of the water.
I think this is the big thing for City, is they're so clinical. 12 shots, 8 have been on target. That kind of shot accuracy puts so much pressure on D'Angelo. They've only created 1.21 from 12 shots. You'd think, that's not incredible. And none of their goals have been sort of high XG chances. It's not like they're scoring from the goal line. But they do so well to pull teams apart, create space in behind. And obviously Shaw is such a big threat that not only does she drag players to her and then just shrugs them off, and then they're out of the equation, but she also then creates chances for her teammates. So we've gone from 2 goalless draws a moment ago to 3 goals across those 2 games. Another goal in the game between City and Villa, and Chelsea still leading here by 2-0. So if you're watching on multiview, you probably are suffering from epilepsy right now because it's just pinging everywhere. Here, coming down the left-hand side, our Chelsea captain tries to play it in behind. Venegas will get there, though, to stop it running through to Kerr. Great pressure from captain. Almost wins it back, but it's out for a Brighton throw-in on this near side.
Incredible. I said this would be a big Sunday at action, and it really is proving to be crucial, and lots of goals flying in. And we haven't, arguably the best game of the game week hasn't even kicked off yet. Manchester United versus Tottenham. So, the action continues. It's been a brilliant weekend so far.
Absolutely. Here is Ellie Carpenter now on the right-hand side. Goes back to Bronze. Here's Walsh. Brilliant. Plays it through into Cuthbert. Open up the space for the shot. It's blocked. Vika Capsine with the chance. Delays too long. Has to take a shot there, Capsine.
She didn't seem to back herself.
No.
Just need to hit it. And failed to. But again, Kira Walsh, just a superb pass into Cuthbert. Really good from Chelsea.
Bright carries it forward. Lays it to Sondy Baltimore. And now back to Naomi Girma. Kira Walsh. Knocks it out to Bright. He's now looking to try and put this ball into the area. Goes back instead to Walsh. Thompson. Great hold up there from Alyssa Thompson into Walsh. Looking for the runner, Sondy Baltimore. Not quite the pass needed from Walsh. And drops in there now for Thompson. Walsh pokes it to Captine. Back to Kira Walsh. Great to see her involved in the attacking area. Here's Sondy Baltimore to the overlapping run of Alyssa Thompson. Opens up the shot, and that's dealt with well by Manuela Venegas, who's going to carry this forward now for Brighton. Plays it to Hayley. Brilliant from Bright there to jump in with a good tackle, and she's been caught by Hayley, and she's stumbling quite a lot there. Millie Bright.
Yeah. Bit of a late one from Hayley there as she fell down, and that will be a yellow card for the Brighton forward. Again, really good from Chelsea. I have to say, the one thing that surprised me about Thompson, I absolutely love, is her physicality. I didn't really expect her to be this assertive and aggressive, and it's absolutely perfect. It's exactly what you need as a new winger coming to the WSL. We see so many of these forwards who are technically brilliant, but just lack the physicality to match the game, and then they really struggle to get involved. But Thompson is being very assertive, and it's benefiting her massively.
Yeah, Bright trying to lift that there, looking for Baltimore. That's out for a Chelsea throw on this near side. Yeah, I think Alyssa Thompson's a player who's massively surprised me. I know I did a video looking at what she could really bring to Chelsea, but I've been surprised. even still, because I think there were some huge limitations to her game, but she looks much more polished than when she came, or at least than she did in the NWSL. So, yeah, she's looking like a really brilliant acquisition. Haley goes down. She felt the grab there from Sunday Baltimore. I don't think it was enough to pull her down, but it's really smart play from Haley. Just feeling that tap and going down.
Especially, it's obvious from Baltimore, referees right behind them. When you grab the shirt and the player falls over on the break, you're always going to give away a free kick.
Yeah. Baker Olsen with the assist, by the way, in that game between Liverpool and West Ham, which is good if you've triple captained her.
Yeah. Now everything seems to be settling down in all the games, but I'm expecting a bit of a late kind of flurry of goal, a big ending, big finale to some of those huge clashes, especially the two at the bottom that are still in contention.
London City won't want to lose. I think Brighton would like to get a goal. Villa would probably like to get a goal, but I think Villa's focus will be on not conceding any more at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously, West Ham and Liverpool will both be looking for a winner. Liverpool have got to be a lot more cautious, given their position in the table is more precarious, and the fact they're down to 10 players at the moment. But
anything could happen in that game. I'm not like genuinely anything could happen in that. I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham picked out a red card or something silly like that.
That's like the most predictable thing that's going to happen.
Yeah. So West Ham got this massive player advantage, could win the game, and then someone else gets sent off.
Red card and penalty.
Yeah.
Liverpool win 2-1. Head up from captain. Here's Baltimore. Ball in behind. Kerr there shrugs off Hayes brilliantly. Gets around Rule, and that is fair. The referee's bailed Charlie's rule out there. Carpenter latches onto that loose pass, wants to take on Olislagers now. Here come Chelsea. Ball into the area, headed away by Caitlin Hayes. Now Captine picks up on the loose ball on the edge of the box. Here's Baltimore. Wants to take on Rule. Brilliant dribbling. Ball into the box. Too much on it again. Carpenter will keep this alive. How Chelsea haven't found another goal in this game yet is beyond me. Ball in from Bronze. And Venegas gets it away. Here's the thing, people say, Chelsea, haven't scored enough goals. This game could easily be 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There just hasn't really been that clinicality again.
Exactly. We've seen some efforts go wide, we've seen Bagley make some saves, we've seen some crosses haven't been converted. It's just one of those. If they all go in, suddenly it's a really convincing victory.
Yeah. Walsh, Baltimore. Now Cuthbert.
I mean, still 2-0 away at Brighton is a pretty decent margin anyway, and with 20 minutes to get more.
Goal, by the way, in the game between Manchester City and Aston Villa. It's City 3, Villa 1.
Wow.
And Villa have got a goal back in that game.
I'm guessing it's Kirsty Hansen?
No, Kirsty Hansen's been taken off, so it has to be someone else, which is a miracle in of itself.
Own goal?
For Villa. Yeah, gotta be. We'll find out who that is in a moment. Ball long now for Chelsea. And Carpenter does initially give chase, but gives up on it. It'll run through to Bagley. It's from a corner, I believe, and it was Lucy Parker with the goal. So,
Come back on? Question mark?
One step closer.
Here we go.
Bronze holds on to that ball well. Now Cuthbert plays that forward pass into Captine. Out now to the right-hand side with Carpenter. Ball in. That's blocked away by the recovering Venegas. And now Seke back to Venegas. Who's carried that ball forward quite a few times for Brighton today. Doesn't quite come off though. And Bronze and Captine here trying to up Chelsea's possession statistic by exchanging passes as many as possible in a minute.
I think Venegas has wanted to progress the ball. Problem is because Brighton is so deep, she's only taking it from the edge of the 6-yard box to halfway in her own half. When they play a bit higher, she can usually dribble that out dribble it through into the opposition's half, but it's just not happening today because Brighton are so deep.
Yeah, big goal in that relegation scrap. Then it is West Ham 2, Liverpool 1. Not sure who's found that one yet either. Just
wait a minute because Liverpool are about to score again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a massive goal for West Ham and would put Liverpool in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Cat Antlers, welcome to the stream, says, good morning from the US. Who scored for Chelsea? It was Sonny Baltimore and an own goal from Caitlin Hayes. Smart routine here from the corner for Chelsea. Leaves space for Baltimore to put the ball back into the box. Heads away well there at the front post by Madison Haley.
Yeah, I've just seen Chelsea's tactic, and I can now see why it happened in the first half with Walsh getting an opportunity to hit the post.
They're trying to stop someone getting back out.
Carlton was being used as a blocker, and in the first half she did it fairly. There she did just throw Fran Kirby on the floor.
Baltimore, that's not a good ball into the front post. She'll get another bite of the cherry though as Seiko puts it back out to her. And it's also not a great ball, and it's dealt with at the front post. Why is Sondy Baltimore on corners? I have yet to see her take a good one.
Yeah.
Carpenter's under pressure from Kirby. That must be given as a Brighton free kick.
Someone needs to tell Carlton that the whistle's gone.
They just broke
yeah. Carlton are paying what to carry on.
The goal, by the way, I think, from Anna Suzuki for West Ham, set up by Phil Morgan. And Liverpool responded by bringing up Alejandro Bernabé. So perhaps going for the game?
Maybe. I don't think either side has realised the referee's given a free kick here. There we go.
Well, Liverpool brought Hannah Silcock back off.
What? What is happening over there?
So either she's picked up an injury, obviously sure she isn't a yellow card, so if they were trying to sit in, that does make sense, but... Go on, the game between City and Villa, that's easier.
Oh.
Man City 4, Aston Villa 1. Viviana Minima adds to her 2 assists by finding a goal.
Comeback is no longer on.
Comeback dreams are finished.
We had some fun.
The second half hasn't been... Chelsea Brighton hasn't been the game to watch, has it? It's
No.
been goals everywhere else. The only one here, the own goal from Kate Hayes. Brilliant there from Kerr to get around Hayes. Cuts it back for Thompson! And there we go. Chelsea find a third. As soon as I complain that Chelsea haven't scored enough in this game, Kerr breaks down the left-hand side, cuts it back, and Alyssa Thompson with another goal in Chelsea blue. And what a debut season she's starting to have at Chelsea. Really important goals so far this season. Scored at Liverpool, the opener in that game. Scored at Arsenal, and now finds her third in the WSL. A really good finish there. Meets the cross at Kerr, and it's Brighton 0. Chelsea 3.
Absolute brilliance from Sam Kerr down this left-hand side. Ball is threaded through brilliantly. It's at the throw. Chelsea work it from the throw and do very, very well. Brighton just do not react. Runs all the way through.
That's brilliant from Kerr.
Done. Gets done so easily. Cutback superb.
Yeah, Thompson nails the run.
Yeah.
She runs off the shoulder here of Kerr, sees Kerr, and then makes that bursting run between the centre halves in the perfect position then to smash it home.
And does the right thing. Wrong foot's Bagley. Bagley is expecting that to go across the goal, but just fires in the near post. Completely wrong foot's the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And Chelsea have 3. And even again, this looks even more comfortable for the Blues. Exactly the reaction that was needed.
Ball in behind, brought down by Seike. Now to Kirby as Brighton look to respond. Drilled low and saved well by Olivia Penn.
That wouldn't have been very nice to see Fran Kirby score against Chelsea. But yeah, I tell you what, there aren't many teams that turn up away at the Broadfield Stadium and turn Brighton over for 3. With still 15 minutes left for Chelsea if they want to get any more in this game. This has been, I know it hasn't quite been the 6-1 Phil expected, but I think it's been that same message of Chelsea have come out to prove a point and to, show everyone what they're made of. And the response has been brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely brilliant there from Thompson as well to get involved in the goals. I think she's been absolutely excellent today. Alyssa Thompson, when we come around to do our player of the match in a quarter of an hour's time, I'm sure, well, unless Sam Kerr bags a brace in the next 15 minutes, I think Alyssa Thompson's the front runner for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is much better from Chelsea. A much better performance from Chelsea, I think. Not just in terms of their attacking play and the chances they've created and the goals they've scored, but the fact they've done that while not giving up any sort of defensive solidity. The fact that they've off Brighton haven't been able to hurt Chelsea at all in attacking areas today. That Kirby effort was just their second shot on target of the match. And yeah, it's been dominant from Chelsea. Absolutely dominant. A little bit more clinical and this would look like a drubbing. But It has been dominant. Ball into the box. Great playing from Peng, and it's kicked out of her hands by Charlie's Raw, and a good save from Millie Bright there. Luckily, the whistle had gone.
Good catch. Yeah, Peng did okay, dropped the first one, but did well to get to the second one first, and would have the second. Did she drop it? I think
just one of those where
was it
you
knocked
don't
out?
realise as a goalkeeper. Yeah, it's just
just-
spilt because
yeah.
she gets lumped into. You don't realise just how physical you have to be as a goalkeeper in the WSL, because teams are going to be very physical on corners. They are going to try and rough you up and rule every right for her to go for it.
Yeah.
But, just
It's
catches
something
her.
across the game of football. I think obviously with VAR being introduced, a lot of goalkeepers now get away with it.
Cuthbert ball in behind. Thompson makes the run off Minami. Now looking to chop inside. Can she get the ball across? She can. Rule clears it to the edge, and Brighton can look to play out. Here is Seike. Another good move there from Chelsea. Not quite able to find the finishing touch, and that not a great pass from Simmons, picked on by Baltimore. Exchanges with Walsh. Baltimore now released down the left-hand side. Wants to take on Charlie's Rule. Lovely footwork from Baltimore. Ball into the box. Deserves a goal. Kerr. Can she tuck it home? No. Her header denied. Ball on the edge now for Cuthbert, who'll twist and turn. Can she get a shot away? She tries. She's brought down in there, but it's deemed fair. And Brighton now will look to break away. And Chelsea so unlucky not to have a fourth. You wouldn't bank on Sam Kerr missing from point-blank range like that.
Yeah, and really good footwork from Chelsea. As you say, it's not a bad header from Kerr, but similar to Thompson's one, the first one was a bit too straight, but another great save from Bagley, who now must be on, 5, 6, 7? It's been superb from Bagley today.
Yeah, fifth save of the game. Marred, of course, by 3 conceded, but still.
Yeah.
I don't think she could have done... I don't think she could have done... Well, Chelsea only had 8 shots on target.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean, that's a lot more clinical than what we've seen recently.
That
fair.
is true.
Actually, it's 12 shots. 13 shots, 7 on target for Chelsea.
That's not bad.
Yeah. For one of the goals was an own goal.
Yes, true.
That would have been a Kerr goal, though, to be fair,
Yeah.
with the chance that was created.
Or Captain, they're both in the same kind of...
I think that's the big thing. I mean, Chelsea's goal XG shows us 1.54. I don't think it's counted that Kerr chance just yet. And obviously the goal being an own goal means that doesn't count for anything on XG, where you would expect that to be a high XG chance if Kerr had made it. So Chelsea have done really well to create opportunities today. And it's especially second half with Kerr coming on, the just looks so good, Chelsea. Ball in behind from Cuthbert. Perfect weight to Carpenter now, who will take aim. Saved by Bagley. Kerr tried to anticipate it. Captain trying to poke it back to a teammate. And Bronze will get there. Cuthbert now. Seike wins it back. And Rule clears her lines well. Here's Fran Kirby.
I was fully expecting to see Millie Bright running onto that ball back from Captain and just smash it home.
Or anyone, really. I thought it might be Kira Walsh.
But what we're seeing is Chelsea, they're enjoying it. And it's the luxury of it. It's 1-2 touch football. It's free. It's flowing. It's absolutely brilliant.
And this is what I mean when I say the game state is impacting why Chelsea aren't so dominant. Because Chelsea are 3-0 up now. That's an injury as well. Chelsea are 3-0 up now. So rather than having to play safe football, trying to break your team down, and Brighton aren't just sat in their goal line, Chelsea now have that freedom to play like City have had so often this season. I think the Leicester game is a great example. Chelsea took ages to break Leicester down, and that gave Leicester the opportunity to sit really deep. City, throughout the game, were breaking, just like pulling Leicester apart, and when the goal eventually came, Leicester completely crumpled. Triple change here for Chelsea. It's Janet Ritting, Carnreed on Alyssa Thompson, who had a brilliant game, goal and assist for her today, making way. Sunday Baltimore, another goal scorer to be replaced by Guro Wrighton, and Eve Charles on for Lucy Bronze. So you'd have to assume this is a shape change to a 4-back, with Carpenter going to right back. I think, unless Wrighton's playing wing back. Could be right in the wing back.
Yeah, I think probably just keep it the same. But a good opportunity to rest for Chelsea. It's exactly what Chelsea haven't had all season. It's a comfortable lead where you can rest up Baltimore, you can rest up Lucy Bronze, which is probably the biggest one because she plays every single minute of every single game.
A change as well, by the way, for Brighton. Fuka Sonoda has come onto the field. She hasn't had a load of opportunities for Brighton so far this season, but does get onto the field here, replacing Maisie Simmons. Brighton sensing the opportunity to give her a 10-minute spell. And that means I've missed the other sub.
Carla Camacho for Haley.
Cool. Carla Camacho on into the front line. she didn't impress in her opportunities. Camacho been dropped in the recent ones. This is another 10-minute cameo. Can she give Vidicic a bit of a headache and force her way back into the team? Here's Bright. Plays out to the left-hand side, and well, brilliant pressing from Camacho, but Germa, that is excellent. Carries the ball forwards now, but that was phenomenal. And Connery tries to take on Minami, but is blocked right and now.
Yeah, it was on so recover that. The pass from Bright sold her short.
Yeah.
Very short.
Put her into a lot of trouble, but phenomenal play from Naomi Germa. Carneries try to take on Rule. Rule does really well to win that back. Playing on the left-hand side is certainly a choice. Cuthbert.
Yeah. Who's on the left then? Oh, sorry, who's on the right?
Well, cat times come over here, so it's very fluid, that midfield today.
Yeah.
That's where the problems have been for Brighton, is that they're those 10s are very tight to each other, and the midfield pair are really tight to each other, but they move around the field a lot.
I think the one thing that I've noticed today between that Germa doesn't have, that I think Werder Bremen does have, is the range of passing. I think there's been a few times where Germa has just tried to play that ball through the lines and just passed it back to Bagley because way too much on it. I think Berman, when she's come in this season, has looked a lot better on the ball. But
yeah, I think to be fair, it's not Germa's preferred side, is it?
No, it isn't.
I think she's right-footed, if I'm not wrong.
I just think a lot of it has been overhit and misplaced today. Brighton coming at Chelsea.
Now to Camacho, strikes across goal, and that's a good save from Livia Peng. I believe Germa is... Oh no, Germa is left-footed, to be fair. I didn't realise. But yeah. I saw a criticism of Germa's passing the other day, which is fascinating, because I think Germa's an incredibly accurate passer. I mean, 92% pass completion in this game.
Really?
Isn't bad. So you've watched the 5 passes she hasn't completed.
I think there's been at least 4 or 5 balls that she tried to play through the lines and just giving it back to Bagley.
Yeah, 67 accurate passes.
Well, those sticks are terrible.
Yeah, you've really went better functions.
I'll rephrase it. I think her long range passing is slightly worse than Berman's.
Probably fair. I mean, 8 passes into the final third. Still, that's not bad. Charles.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say anything anymore.
Here's Cuthbert looking to open up the body, and that's blocked well by Snowden. I think what does happen for Germa sometimes is that I think when she wins the ball back and then rushes forward, she then tries, I think, sometimes to play that pass too early.
Yeah, I think
she gets it wrong. When she's on the run, I think those passes don't always come off.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot that maybe it hasn't all been her. Maybe it has just been, I've seen loads of passes. Quite a few passes have ran through.
Khadija Shaw scored a hat-trick, by the way. It is Manchester City 5, Aston Villa 1. Khadija Shaw adding another goal. That is her 11th goal in 11 games.
Are they going to win the league? Are they really going to win the league?
Villa are a very good side, and they've stuck 5 past them.
It just feels like one of those seasons at the moment where their campaign is on that the Eglert steam train is glued to the tracks, and it's going to take something massive to derail it.
It's one of those where if they can, they are overperforming right now, but if they can maintain that level of overperformance, which with players like Khadija Shaw isn't unrealistic, I think it's fine. The things that derail this season are if either Hasegawa or Shaw get injured. Suddenly, I think City are significantly weaker. But outside of that, and the fact they don't have Champions League football as a distraction, I think City are in a really strong position. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't bothered about the EFL Cup or the
Women's League Cup,
Subway Women's League Cup, or the
FA Cup.
FA Cup.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think that they're also in the luxury position where they can afford to.
Falling behind. Here's Kurt looking for options, tries the cutback. Hayes does well.
But they're also in a position where they don't really have to beat any of the other big 3. They could draw to 2 of them and lose to 1 and still be top of the league. Of course, it wouldn't be comfortable, very tight, but that's a very nice position to be in now.
Yeah, they've got that margin. Here's Kiko Seike in behind. Big save from Peng. Obviously, they'd have to also be flawless against every other team in the league. But
of course.
Yeah. Jill says, has Shaw won a golden boot before? Yes, she's got 2 golden boots. She's going to have more golden boots than she's got feet soon. But she won it last. Well, she joint won it with Russo last season, despite being out for half the campaign,
Ridiculous.
which should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And she won it the season before that, the season that City came second on goal difference.
And she scored, I think, more than one a game that year.
I think she also won it the year before that, actually. Now,
Potentially.
but it might have been Daly or something weird. I think that's the year Daly won it.
Yeah.
She has scored.
Bit of an error there from Payne. She did that to leave the ball, and it just hit her chest and went out.
This season she's on 11. Last season she got 12, but only played 14 games. To be fair, season before that 21. Season before that 20. Season before that 9.
It's just ridiculous.
That was her first season in the WSL.
So this season she's now on a goal a game.
Yes, she's very soon going to be the WSL's top goal scorer.
All time. Yeah.
Because Viviana Miedemar's on 80. Well, was on 87. I think she'll now be on 88.
I think Miedemar is still scoring. But the rate.
Yeah, but she's scoring 1 every 10 games, and Khadijah's scoring 1 every game on average.
10 every game.
Yeah. But, so yeah, I don't think it'll be long before Khadijah Shaw is the new top goal scorer, unless she decides to leave. I don't know why she would.
But also the big thing for City this season has been that they've managed to keep everyone else fit while other players are coming back. Last season, their biggest problem was someone would be fit again just for another player to get out injured. But like this season, for example, Lauren Hemp's come back and they haven't lost another winger. So they can then rotate the wingers and make sure that Hemp doesn't end up getting injured again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chelsea would be 6 points behind Man City. That is a very nice lead for them. Also, a big win. This helps Chelsea as well because their goal difference is now back level with Arsenal's and 2 better than Manchester United's. So now the pressure is all onto Manchester United this afternoon to get a result at Tottenham.
Absolutely, and I think we already saw that Skinner was feeling that pressure with which team he selected on Wednesday night. Chance now for Captain to add to the score. That was a great save from Caitlin Hayes, who's not had her finest game. She got done by Kerr for the goal. She scored an own goal, and that should have been a penalty. We'll have a look at the replay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think it was close, but we'll have a look. I'm surprised at the lack of appeals for Chelsea. Maybe we got it wrong, but that looks definite. Captain shoots.
Oh, that was the foot. Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. That's a good block. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
But back now to Gurma. Yeah, the angle deceiving us. Bright.
Yeah.
Charles, and the fact their arm was out here. Carpenter into Charles. Oh, a big goal in the game at the bottom of the table. West Ham 2.
No way.
Liverpool 2.
Wow.
It's a goal from Beta Olsen, scoring from a corner, I believe.
Wow.
And that has probably kept Gareth Taylor in an employment.
That's huge. That is absolutely huge. Because there'd have been 6 points rooted to the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
That is
5, I think.
5.
Yeah.
But that is a massive goal. 10 down a player.
5 minutes to play.
Oh, it's a big 5 minutes. That's a massive 5 minutes.
I think it was a knockdown from a corner, if I'm not mistaken. Beta Olsen, big goal.
I mean,
She
West
knows
Ham.
she needed to do something for my aerial fantasy triple captaincy.
I know they can
Nailed
still
it.
win it, so maybe I don't say anything, but you're up a player against a side who are bottom of the league without a win, and they've managed to somehow may not win that game.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
There was a Society with the assist, awful back pass. Yeah.
Oh, not one of those. No, that's a terrible way to consider.
It's so insincere.
But no, I didn't mean it like that.
Not gonna lie.
That's a terrible way to concede.
Yeah, that is.
If that is the case, massive 5 minutes there though. Imagine Liverpool win that now 3-2. Ray Skinner should be sat on the spot. Don't even let her go in the changing room.
10-player Liverpool. Well, we have hit 90 here at the Broadfield Stadium. No free. Only 4 minutes of additional time. Gurma knocks it down the line. Cuthbert. Now it's with Kira Walsh looking to turn out and play. Lovely that from Walsh. Now out towards the right-hand side. Captain, though, can't hold on to that one. Nordam carries it forwards. Here's Olis Lagers. Nordam. Walsh looking to lift it towards Sam Kerr, who we know, you can see she's desperate for a goal.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Sam Kerr. I think she's very much similar as Khadija Shaw, as if she doesn't score, it's not a good game for her.
Yeah.
In her own mind, at least. I think she's done incredibly well since coming on, but she absolutely loves scoring.
So she got an assist and she's forced an own goal.
Yeah. Brilliant play. Absolutely brilliant play. I saw someone mention, I think I missed the comment, about just like, yeah, Paul said, come on, Sam Kerr, put the icing on the cake. And that she completely changed the game.
Yeah.
Paul said it's because Kerr is a legit world-class striker who understands every aspect of her position. Absolutely perfect in that striker position. Should we do player of the match? Because I'm not going to give it to Sunday Baltimore. Who would you say is the player of the match in this game? I was about to say Chelsea's player of the match, but you can give it to a Brighton player if you wish.
I think I'm all right. Although Bagley has had a good game, she still has conceded 3. I think it's been a very complete performance from Chelsea. I will say I'll go Alyssa Thompson. I thought she was absolutely brilliant. Capped it off with a goal as well. Was superb all game. But I think Kerr and Lauren James both had good halves. And I thought the return of Erin Cuthbert just shows how important she is to this Chelsea side, because she just runs things in that midfield.
Her intensity, her ability to hunt the ball. I would also say Alyssa Thompson, but because you said Alyssa Thompson, I'm going to give a shout out to Kira Walsh. I don't think she's misplaced a pass today. Been absolutely excellent. I think with a slightly different role to what we'd expect from her. She's usually like that sort of metronomic, tempo-setting defence midfielder. We've seen her everywhere today.
Yeah.
For Chelsea, she's been involved in everything positive, and yeah, absolutely phenomenal. So could have had a goal if she struck the post or bar, I think, at one point in today's game. So yeah, really good game from Kira Walsh. So yeah, I think she's been the player who, despite Chelsea perhaps not kicking on in the way we'd have wanted them to this season, Kira Walsh has taken her game up at another level.
Must be a fire at the Broadfield Stadium. Everyone's leaving. Where are they going?
Yeah, we've got someone to be.
Not been the afternoon that Brighton would have hoped for. As we spoke about at the top of the show, we know that they can play well and really put the best teams in the world to the test, but today they have kind of sunk without a trace.
Charles carrying this forward for Chelsea, back now to Bright. And she'll go further back to Germa as we tick into the 93rd minute, the last of this game. Still time in some of the other WSL kickoffs. Liverpool, West Ham has had significantly more stoppages, and I think that game probably still be going when we start doing our Tottenham United stream. And well, speaking of a game where there's more time to score goals, Man City have done exactly that.
Days.
Man City 6, Aston Villa 1.
Wow.
I hope it's not a 4th for Khadija Shaw. It's a 4th for Khadija Shaw.
Probably should have captained her in fantasy WSL.
Yeah, I used my short captain this week on Olsen.
Oh, 4 goals.
Probably should have used it.
Aston Villa,
Sure.
I have got some questions.
Yeah, what's happened there?
That is embarrassing.
Carpenter. Now Charles, blocked well by Venegas.
6-1.
Phil had 6-1 City. I predicted the wrong game. Yeah.
That is ridiculous. That is utterly ridiculous, because they haven't dismantled a bad side there. They've played a Villa side who are pretty decent off the park.
So those, you say, you should have captained Khadija Shaw, but I think a lot of people would have gone against Shaw today with the captaincy, just because of the double up, and because I would have thought Villa is a more difficult game than scoring 4.
Yeah.
Ball into the front post for Chelsea. Not quite turned home. And that is full-time here at the Broadfield Stadium. A comfortable win for Chelsea today, albeit not a 6-1 victory, but a fairly comfortable 3-0 win away from home. Great to see Sam Kerr back and helping in providing the goals. Alyssa Thompson, probably her best performance in the Chelsea shirt. She seems to get better every week. And Sonny Baltimore with a goal as well, a player who was brilliant last season. Chelsea had a slow start to this campaign, but her strike in the first half reminding us of exactly her quality. But yeah, really, really impressive stuff from Chelsea today, and that does help them stay within 6 points of Man City, though City are romping things as it stands. 6-1 against Aston Villa is an absolutely crazy result. elsewhere, still playing in all the other 3 matches. On one hand, I don't want to go before, and then there turns out to be like a goal fake coverage has been booked, so I imagine Liverpool are time wasting at this point. And actually, good job, because there's a penalty in the game between Leicester City and London City, and shock, it's for London City. 90th minute, an opportunity for London City to salvage what's been a particularly poor performance.
Do you want to put it on the...
Yes,
put it on.
I want to see if it's going to go in.
Yeah, that'll be big for London City and heartbreak for Leicester if that does go in.
I'm going to have to watch it on multi-view.
Yes.
Oh, don't know what I'm doing there.
Do you want to put it on? There you go, put the show on. But yeah. Just...
Wow, challenge apparently from Phil. Why are Leicester like that?
Why would they do that?
What
That's
a
not...
stupid thing to do. Or we can watch it on multi-view now. And we can
Massive,
see if
mate.
Liverpool score a winner. This is brilliant. God, I love multi-view.
97th minute. They've added on 8. What happened in
Alarming.
Leicester than London City?
From 12 yards. Come on, Leipzig. Leicester, this would be so cruel. They put in a brilliant performance by the looks of it. I suppose it's a wild challenge. I'd be keen to see that back. That's Lani from 12 yards to crush Leicester hopes and dreams.
Oh, they're making her wait a long time here, Lani. Can't even put the ball down.
You want the least, with the penalties, you want the least delay between it being given and you taking it. And you want to give a bit of a delay between the whistle and then you kicking it. This is not what Aslani would want. A lot of waiting. A player of experience, though, should be able to handle this. How anyone can watch football like this is insane to me. Because like NFL suits this style because it's so stop-start and there's like stoppage every 10 minutes so everyone can have a little breather. But with football being so active, I'm just watching everything. Full time, big point for Liverpool. Big point for West Ham. Bader Olsen goal and assist. Will we see a draw at London City or can Leicester hold on Leipzig to save the penalty? What a save from Leipzig! The Leicester players jump on her because that is huge. Kasavare Aslani misses the penalty. It was so poor. She was made to wait for ages. Aslani and Leicester will hold on for a big 3 points, or will they? Because London City are coming forwards. Down the left-hand side. Cleared away. That's got to be it.
They'll have a lot of added time, though, for the penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a terrible penalty from Aslani.
Awful. Just never look comfortable striking it.
Leipzig does well to get down to it, but yes, no power behind it.
I wonder how much impact the delay had on that.
Yeah.
Because a player like Aslani doesn't miss like that very often. And Leicester defending valiantly, still looking to break away. Just trying to kill this game off as quickly as possible. The referee obviously has to play a little more time because there was that stop. That was the penalty. I presume there was a decent stoppage for it. Also, I tried multi-view for the first 10 minutes. Well, for the last 10 minutes, not keen to be honest. I tried it the weekend that we weren't able to stream. I watched on multi-view for literally 30 seconds. I thought, this is horrible. I'm just going to watch one game of football and watch the rest later. I just don't think it works in football. Multi-view works in the US because you think US sports, like especially NFL, it's so stop-start. You only really want to watch like the highlights anyway. Yeah. A full game, as much as I love watching the Patriots and I love watching the sport, a full game is really long. So actually it's suited to sort of every game happening at the same time. And then if you support a team, cool, watch their game. But if you don't, you just see all the sort of, you watch their red zone and you only see clips if they're near the goal. But it doesn't work in football because football is a continuous sport. If cricket had all their games on the same time and anyone wanted to watch them, that would work really well on multi-view, wouldn't it, Harry?
No, it wouldn't. No, it would not. Sorry, are we? Is the referee just playing? We'll play till London City score.
Oh yeah. Michelle Kang stuck a tenner in the meter. Keep it going.
It's ridiculous. What? We've seen some brilliant action in these 12 o'clock kickoffs, and we've still got United Tottenham to come.
I know. I'm conscious that we're live in 15 minutes, but I want to see if London City get a goal here if Leicester can hold on. Make sure to stay on this stream page after this and you'll be directed to United Tottenham. Will be live from 2:15.
Is that a
So
foul?
just a short
Probably.
break. Leicester now starting to ask the
I played
question
101 minutes.
about the final whistle, and it does come.
Wow.
And that is a huge 3 points for Leicester. They're up to 9th in the table, and they open up a 6-point gap back to Liverpool.
Wow.
That is a sizable margin now.
That's huge.
Considering Liverpool haven't won a game yet, they've now got to win 2 just to catch up.
That's huge.
Yeah.
They might do
Big
it. Leicester
stuff.
might survive.
Rick, pass less.
Doesn't need a
Win
pass.
more. There we go. He needs to change his name. Rick Winmore. But yeah, that is full time. So all the 12 o'clock games are done. Leicester beat London City by a goal to 0. Chelsea win 3-0 away at Brighton. City with a big 6-1 win over Aston Villa. West Ham with a 2-2 draw against Liverpool. Despite Liverpool being down to 10 players. If you're not joining us for this afternoon's game, make sure to join us tomorrow. We'll be live at 5 o'clock with our WSL Weekend Roundup. We'll go through all of the action, analysing where it went wrong for Villa and where it went right for Leicester City amongst everything else. And if you are joining us and stay on this stream page, we'll be back in about 20 minutes to start Tottenham United. That knows everything for us for now. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in a moment.